It's 5 o'clock, this is Sky News, I'm Mark Austin, live in Cornwall for the UK's best solar eclipse so far this century. Over the next 4 hours, we'll bring you full coverage from across Europe and the UK as the sun moves behind the moon, setting up a celestial spectacular. Here in Cornwall, the coverage will be up to 96%. The show will be even better for some parts of Ireland with 97% coverage in western and southern parts. The peak of the eclipse in England, Wales and Ireland will come at around 7:15 UK time. And we're expecting an incredible finale as swathes of northern Spain get a full eclipse and the sun will set over the Balearic Islands while still totally obscured by the moon. Good evening then from Newquay, where the skies are mercifully clear and we're in for a stunning natural phenomenon, a solar eclipse, the deepest and most significant in this country in almost 3 decades. It's a rare spectacle and we won't get a chance like this again for some 50 years. That's why eclipse glasses are sold out and tens of thousands of people have made their way to vantage points around the UK and Ireland, just like this one, to make sure that they've got a front row seat. So let's just tell you exactly what to expect in the coming hours. The eclipse has already begun. It's already begun in Greenland and Iceland, and it is continuing to go. Let me just bring you up to date here. The eclipse in Greenland is 6:15 UK time, 6:48 in Reykjavik, and 6:48 there, totality in Reykjavik, and after that it goes through Ireland. The eclipse will start at around 6:15 and will reach the maximum coverage around an hour later, with parts of Ireland enjoying up to 97% coverage, just slightly better than the view right here in Cornwall. Pretty much all of northern Spain will enjoy a total solar eclipse this evening, and the weather there looks great. A Coruña will be first to enjoy totality at 7:28 UK time, and we could be in for a spectacular finish as the sun sets over the Balearic Islands, including Ibiza, while still in a total eclipse. Let me introduce my guests here with me all evening to offer their expertise. Professor Catherine Hayman, astrophysicist, physicist, a first female royal astronomer for Scotland, and Dr. Claire Foulon is senior lecturer in solar and space physics at the University of Exeter. Thank you both for being with us. We're going to have a lovely night here. Some technical difficulties there, but first of all, how special, Catherine, is what we are about to witness?
Well, I mean, I've been preparing for this for a while, and for me it's all been about monitoring the clouds, hence being here today. And I cannot see a single cloud in the sky here, so first job done. We've got brilliant weather, and now we're just waiting for the moon to move in front of the sun, and I honestly can't wait. The first contact in the UK that people will see the moon moving in front of the sun is actually in the Shetlands, really high up in Scotland, but I don't know what their cloud cover's looking at the moment, but I'm hoping that they get to see something soon.
Yeah. And what about, I mean, well, you say the weather is fantastic. We couldn't be asking for a better time.
No.
In Scotland, where you were, I mean, not so great, so you've had to come down south. Sorry about that. Probably not so popular in Scotland.
Well, so there is going to be hopefully some patchy cloud cover. So what I'm telling people to do in Scotland is just to get out there. It's lovely and warm. It's not raining. Get out there, enjoy the evening, and when the clouds clear, hopefully you'll get a peek of that beautiful moment of the moon moving across the sun.
Dr. Fulol, so just explain then what happens. What's the mechanics of this when the moon does move across the sun?
So we first have a first contact where the side of the moon is coming towards the sun or in front of the sun, and then we will have a partial eclipse. So it will reach a maximum coverage that you mentioned with different percentage. Different places would have different percentage, and then a final exit. In our case, around 8:10. So during that period, it's going to be extraordinary because first, as you mentioned, it's the first one in the century. Last time, in 1999, there was a lot of clouds. This is amazing today. We just have a beautiful weather. And so it's extremely, although it's not a full eclipse, it's going to be an event for everybody because, yeah, it's just awesome. Yeah.
And Catherine, I mean, it's very breezy, windy this afternoon. What can we expect when the eclipse takes place? What will happen to the wind? What will happen to the temperature and so forth?
So it is actually really eerie when you get these big partial eclipses. It's going to get slightly darker, and it is the eeriest thing. I swear the birds stopped tweeting as much, but I'm not sure if that's true. It just feels like that. This eeriness gets slightly darker. And we're not going to have a pitch black sky, so our friends in Spain are going to be enjoying the sky going completely dark. So we're not going to have that here. We'll still have that crescent of the sun left over at the peak of the partial eclipse. But it is going to feel weird. It's going to feel slightly cooler, which I'm actually looking forward to because as a Scots person in England right now, I'm literally melting.
Yeah, well, it is very hot. I think it's going to gradually get cooler. That's the one thing that we can say. And of course, we can't say this enough, can we? These things.
Yeah, so important.
Really important. We're probably going to say it 100 times in the next 3 hours, but it's worth repeating, isn't it? Why are these so important?
Yeah, so I think people are kind of like, oh, you know, nannies say I often take a glimpse of the sun. You shouldn't. It damages your eyes. And the problem is during an eclipse, Mark, you're tempted to keep looking back and back again because the sun's constantly changing its shape. And that really does do some serious damage. So find yourself some friends with some eclipse glasses. That's what you want. There are astronomical societies up and down the United Kingdom who are putting on events. Have a Google, see if you can find someone in your local area, because seeing it through these eclipse glasses is just magical.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, isn't it? I think in '99, I remember the Royal College of ophthalmologists reported afterwards that there were dozens of cases of people who got quite serious eye injuries. Obviously, we don't want that to happen this time. So these are so important. I mean, there are other ways, aren't there, if you don't have these, because the shops have been running out. There are other ways, aren't there?
So do you want to go through the other ways?
Yeah, if you've got, we've got time. How many others? About 3 other ways, aren't there?
Yes, so one is actually the pinhole, and actually I could have bring it to you, but the pinhole is just one where you make this pinhole in your cardboard and another white cardboard where you project basically the sun. You could try that now if you don't have eclipse glasses. Try that now to see how it looks like, and it will look like just a round disc, the disc of the sun. Yeah. But the idea is that during the eclipse, it will be, you will see bits of it starting to go across this little disc. That is if you have nothing else, or maybe you have a colander. So that's the one where you have multiple holes. And then there's one that.
But you don't just look.
Yeah, no. You do the
the
same thing. You put it towards the sun, yeah, and then you also probably try to project on a nice white surface.
Yeah.
And then the final idea is it comes from doing a little bit more work with a cereal box or a shoe box, and the idea is you make 2 holes. try to separate them, and with the hole where you're going to look into this, you put a nice piece of paper at the bottom of the cereal box, and you close everything, and then on the second hole you put a little piece of aluminium foil. And now you try this with looking at the sun now, and maybe later when you know how it works, you'll find the eclipse in there as well.
Yeah, and Catherine, we're talking quite, I mean, look, it's an evening eclipse, so we're talking quite low in the sky.
Yeah,
so
in England
difficult
it's
for
going
some
to be
people to see.
a little bit low, yeah. So Scotland, not too bad because the sun's setting a lot later. For us here down south, the sun is going to be setting across the course of these 2 hours, Mark. So if you are down south, you want to get a clear view of the western horizon as good as you can.
Yeah.
And I'll just add to the list Ritz crackers.
Ritz crackers, explain quickly.
If you've got a Ritz cracker biscuit, basically anything with a small hole, just look at the shadow of your Ritz cracker biscuit, and that hole won't be a circle anymore once the eclipse is starting.
All right, thank you both very much, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. We're going to Greenland now, though, one of the first places on the path of totality, and we can speak to the founder of the cruise ship company Aurora Expeditions. That's Greg Mortimer. And well, Greg, first of all, tell us where you are, and I was going to say, what's the weather like? It looks pretty good.
Hello, Mark. How are you? I'm in Scoresby, which is the biggest fjord in the world on the east coast of Greenland, about 70 degrees north. And it's beautiful. We've got lucky. The cloud is holding back, blue skies above us, and we're quietly confident we're about to see totality.
Right, and you've got a couple of ships, I gather, out there with people who have been looking forward to this for years, people who pay to go and do this stuff, so real enthusiasts.
We do. We've got 2 full shiploads of people in various parts of Greenland waiting for this moment, having planned it literally for years. And on top of that, we've got our crew, of course, which means on each ship we've got a couple of hundred people all ready with their glasses, ready to go.
Yeah, it's very important you say that. Give us a sense of the mood. I mean, there was some concern that Greenland was going to have a cloud problem, but it looks like that was an unnecessary worry.
It's been a very tense, tense few weeks, actually, but in particular in the last 72 hours, as we watched the weather systems, and we saw that it looked like there was a hole coming up in the back of O'Fjord, the place we're in. To our north, where our other ship is, it's a little more difficult, so they're struggling. But yes, the weather is holding good. We've got technology on our side here. We use every piece of technology that we can. And, of course, we've got some extra measures on board, a thing called countercurrent, which combines ocean currents, weather systems, satellite data, beams it into the ship, and it's a powerful tool.
So why do you think people are so keen to get out and see the eclipse, so passionate about seeing the eclipse?
Look, from all accounts, the eclipse chasers feel it, see it as one of their life's great experiences. The otherworldliness of all of a sudden the world going dark in the middle of the day, and the gradual process of that for a few hours as the shadow of the moon goes across the face of the sun, and then those few minutes, and we're bang on maximum totality in our location here. So these are people with passion, and in our case, our business is taking people to the ends of the earth, to wild places, and that's what we've always done. And so it attracts people with a great sense of adventure who are prepared to take the risks to go to the east coast of Greenland to see an eclipse.
And I assume you've seen many an eclipse. What's so special, do you think, about eclipse chasing, which so many people do?
Look, there's a little element of gambling involved, that sense of gratification, not knowing whether it's going to happen or not, going to wild places in the world, anywhere in the world where it's going to happen in the path of an eclipse. And it seems a little addictive. Sometimes they get it, sometimes it doesn't get right. And of course, Mother Nature dictates that every single time, whether the cloud comes in the way. In our case, we're looking pretty good.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it. I mean, how worried were you? You say a few weeks ago it was all getting a bit tense, but how worried were you and the people on board that this wasn't going to be happening for you?
My fingernails are short. I've been nibbling at them for quite a few days now. Our guests, our passengers, they've been quite sanguine about it. As the day has gone on today, and then we've found ourselves in good weather, there's an extraordinary level of excitement on board and attention, if you like. And the cameras are ready, the tripods are out on deck, and people have found their position to start to watch the event. I think it'll be a massive relief and release at the end of today.
Yeah, well, we wish you the best of luck, and who knows, we may try and catch you later and see how it all went. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thanks for your interest. Yeah, it's very, very exciting. Thank you.
Good luck. Yeah, well, good luck with it all. Now let's speak to our team of correspondents who are live in some of the best places to watch the eclipse. Dan Whitehead is right here in Newquay. In Cork, in Ireland, is Stephen Murphy, and in Palma, in Mallorca, is Alistair Bunkall. Lucky chap, because there it will be a total eclipse. Let's start with Dan Whitehead. And, well, Dan, here, I mean, I can see it for myself. It's a beautiful evening. It's clear. There must be real anticipation.
Real anticipation, Mark. What a beautiful evening, as you say, and clear skies. We are set for a really great view of, okay, not a total eclipse, but pretty much near there. 96% of the sun is essentially going to disappear as the moon aligns between the Earth and the sun. Just take a quick look down Fistral Beach here. Of course, this, many people will know, the big popular main beach in Newquay. It's the summer holidays, it is busy, but it is even busier than normal at the moment, because there are plenty of people here who have come down to make the most of this incredible event that we are getting very close to. Less than an hour now till here down in Cornwall we start to see that first chunk of the sun disappear. Of course, the real moment right across the UK is around 10 past, quarter past 7. That's when we're going to get 96% of that sun go. And of course, throughout this whole thing, the key is to stay safe. You've got to get your glasses. If you haven't got them, there are other ways. Check out the Sky News app as to how you can view it. We've been chatting about the colanders, the cereal boxes and so forth. But look, there's a real atmosphere of anticipation here. And we know that in Newquay today, we've seen queues for people to get their glasses. We've seen lots of bars preparing for post-eclipse parties. There are eclipse special cocktails on the menu. The celebration is going to continue well after 10 past 8 once the moon moves out and the eclipse is over.
OK, Dan, for now, thank you very much indeed. Let's go straight to Cork in Ireland and Stephen Murphy. Stephen, just explain exactly where you are and what everybody there is hoping to see.
Well, Cork likes to bill itself as the real capital here in Ireland. It's also selling itself today as Ireland's eclipse capital. It's one of the best locations here on the south of Ireland to catch this evening's activities. We are expecting a bit similar to yourself, 96, but here it's 96.47, I think, percent in total eclipse of the sun a bit later on. And if I just step out a shot, you can sort of see the sense of excitement that's starting to build now as crowds are trying to get their hands on these elusive eclipse glasses, which are, of course, essential for this evening's viewing. You can see the queue going down into the distance over there. They've already given away some 7,000 pairs of glasses so far here at Blackrock Castle Observatory. If I just bring you inside, where all these people are now queuing for, you can get a sense of the setting here. Now, Newquay and Cornwall, of course, a gorgeous part of the world, but I think we may have a rival here. This is a working observatory here in Cork, but it's set in the beautiful surroundings of a 16th century castle. This was built in the 1580s, and as you can see, it's got a beautiful view out that way to the sea. It's got a pretty nice courtyard here. It's a sun trap, and all these people here are now waiting to get their glasses. It's going to be distributed from that door over there, and then west is that way, where the camera is roughly pointing now. And a lot of these people will then decamp past the battlements, past the castle walls over here at the right time. It's just same as you, really, in Cornwall, just under an hour's time. The crowd will decamp from here, past the cannons and the battlements, down out of the way of the wall, and they can have a beautiful view back towards the water and the castle here. And hopefully, if the clouds stay away, there are a few clouds, but the forecast is looking pretty good. There are also public events elsewhere here in Cork City and in neighbouring Kerry. That's where the deepest eclipses will be able to be viewed here in Ireland. But it's right around the island, really, in observatories in Armagh, Northern Ireland, and also a couple of events happening in Dublin as well. This, the first opportunity for people to see an eclipse of this nature, obviously, since 1999, and not again till 2090. So there is a real sense of excitement. We're less than an hour away now. There's even a trad Irish band that will be on soon, and they've promised me they've written a song all about the eclipse. So I'll hopefully bring a bit of that to you a bit later on for some musical entertainment as well.
Okay, Stephen, can't wait for that. We'll hold you to it. Let's go to Mallorca and Palma, which is a special place this evening. Alistair Bunkall is lucky enough to be there. Alistair, just explain why that is the place to be.
Yeah, tough gig this one, Mark. This is the place to be because this is kind of the end of the path of totality. So at 8:31 this evening, we will get the total eclipse here, an absolute 100% eclipse. And then minutes later, we'll get a sort of a double whammy because we'll get a beautiful sunset as well. So we're on a beach just outside Palma, looking west to a pretty much unbroken horizon. You know, it's slightly hard to tell at the moment who is here just because they're soaking up the last rays of the day, part of their summer holiday, and who is here because of the eclipse. I think quite a few people have decided to keep their spots on the beach and wait it out. I'm sure others have probably gone home maybe to have a quick shower before coming back out, because this promises to be the place to be. 8:31 and then 90 seconds of totality. The first time in Mallorca since 1905, and the only time it will happen here for another 156 years. The year 2180, I think, is the next time that it will happen in Mallorca. Hundreds of thousands of extra people have come to Spain and the Balearic Islands just for this. We're going to be speaking to one, Mark, later in the hour, a guy called James, who's come here all the way from the northwest of the United States just for this moment.
Okay, Alistair, thank you very much. Also in Spain is Carol Mundell, Director of Science at the European Space Agency, and she joins us now, as you can see. And Carol, just tell us exactly where you are, why you have chosen that space and that particular place. And it does look as if you're in for a magical night.
Absolutely, Mark, and thanks for having me. There may be a lot of noise in the background. I'm here in the Javallambra Observatory in northeast Spain. The European Space Agency is also holding an event in Leon, where we have almost 10,000 people already gathering there. We are in the path of totality, and of course, we're at an observatory 2,000 meters, so 6,000 feet above sea level. So as the sun sets, that's when we will see the solar eclipse. We have our telescopes here. The observatory's kindly hosted us, and we will also have measurements that we've made before, during and after the solar eclipse with our European Space Agency space missions. Proba 3, which is produces artificial solar eclipses, that's orbiting the Earth, and we have our solar orbiter special mission observatory that is actually very close to the sun. So we'll be doing space-based observations as well as ground-based observations. But it's my first solar eclipse, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, good for you. And just those missions you were talking about, what exactly do those involve? This is taking sort of dozens of photographs a minute, and then the information comes back to you, and try and explain too how useful that is to the European Space Agency.
Yeah, so what we do with those missions, I mean, obviously you would never look at the sun with a naked eye, so safety first. What a natural solar eclipse does is it blocks out the bright light of the main disk of the sun and lets us have a very special view of a thin atmosphere of the sun called the corona, which is actually very hot. It's surprisingly hot. It's where we think these solar flares and the solar wind originate from. And of course, those coronal mass ejections then come towards the Earth, produce the aurora borealis, but also can affect Earth-based satellites. And so we're making those observations both from the ground, and then we have these two also space-based measurements. So we've been taking images earlier today. We're hoping to have we have a live broadcast that we'll be doing from the observatory throughout the eclipse. We'll start in about an hour's time. And we will be bringing feeds from Leon, from Palencia, where we have an observatory there, with a special instrument that will be looking at the solar corona from the ground for the natural eclipse. And then we will be using our artificial satellite, if you like. Proba 3 is 2 satellites, and we have our own artificial moon. We also have the scientists who've been making simulations to try to predict what they will see, particularly the charged particles zooming along the magnetic fields. So we expect to see filaments and stripes, and then we'll compare the models with the observations, and that ultimately will help us to protect our planet from space weather.
Right, and what is it about the corona, that is so interesting and so full of sort of interesting information for you?
I mean, it's a bit of a conundrum, Mark, because if you think about, if you have a radiator in your house and you're close to it, it's hot, and as you get further away, you don't feel the heat so much. But we have the opposite with the corona. So instead of that being cooler as it gets away from the center of the sun, it's actually much hotter. So we think there's a lot of extra heating that happens. We think magnetic fields are making particles zoom around, but it's a bit of a conundrum because, of course, it's so difficult to observe. So that's why we've created these space missions to be able to make fake solar eclipses. With our Proba 3 mission, we've done the equivalent of about 60 solar eclipses. And so we're going to compare those data with this really, full solar eclipse from the ground, where in fact we'll also be able to see things like the craters and the mountains on the moon, because as the sunlight leaks through, we get these little things called Bailey's beads. So again, for me, it's that kind of visceral experience of experiencing the eclipse as a person, and then the scientific data, because sometimes one gets stuck in one's computer. So to go out and just experience it with millions of people around the globe. And for those people who are not in a zone for partial eclipse or total eclipse, as I say, we'll be bringing these live feeds. So you can look online and watch and share with your program as well. Wherever you are in the world, you'll be able to share with us this incredible experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point you make, because even for scientists, you've got all this work to do. You've got all these photographs afterwards to see, all the information to sift through. But at the same time, you've got this very, as you say, visceral sort of feeling about this, an emotion about this. And for you, this is your first full eclipse. Is that what you said?
I am, yeah, and we're actually broadcasting with Dame Maggie Aderin. You might know her from the Sky at Night and other incredible science programs. And this will be her third eclipse, but she said every eclipse is different. This will be the first one she will ever have seen, where the moon and the sun are very close to the horizon. So if your viewers have ever seen a full moon just as it's rising, there's an optical illusion that makes it look enormous. It's not changing its size, of course, it's just an optical illusion. So this will be her first experience of that type of eclipse. For me, I'm really curious to know how it feels. You read things and you hear from people who've experienced eclipses. The temperature drops, the light softens, the shadows sharpen. We don't have any trees up here. There's not many birds, but if you are somewhere where there are trees and birds, apparently they stop singing and animals start to nest about 5 minutes before. So other species start to feel something. They know something's happening in the cosmos. As scientists and humans, we now know what's happening. It's not that the sun is disappearing. It's not like ancient people used to think the sun was being gobbled by a dragon. So we're not afraid of it. And as you've seen from all of your correspondence, there's huge excitement about this. But for what we're going to do in the broadcast, of course, we're going to be talking about the science, we'll be explaining to all of our viewers. But at the time the eclipse becomes total here at the observatory, Maggie and I are just going to stop and observe it and have that experience. And I already have goosebumps waiting for it.
Yeah, I bet you do. Well, enjoy the moment, and you're certainly in the right place. And thank you very much indeed. And let's just remind you of what's in store this evening. We attempted to show you this a bit earlier. The eclipse has already begun in Siberia and is making its way over the Arctic to Greenland and Iceland. Reykjavik should get a total eclipse at 6:48 UK time, although there is a bit of cloud in the sky, we're told, over Iceland. Next, it's our turn in the UK and Ireland. The eclipse will start at around 6:15 p.m. and will reach the maximum coverage around an hour later, with parts of Ireland enjoying up to 97% coverage, as Stephen Murphy was saying there, just slightly better than the view here in Cornwall. What about Spain? Well, pretty much all of northern Spain will enjoy a total solar eclipse this evening, as we've just been hearing, and the weather there does look pretty good. A Coruña will be first to enjoy totality at 7:28 UK time. And we could be in for a spectacular finish as the sun sets over the Balearic Islands, including Ibiza, while still in a total eclipse. Let's return to Greenland now and speak to GP and eclipse chaser Sarah Marwick. Thank you very much for being with us, and the weather looks great behind you. We've already been speaking to one of the boats there, so we know how good it is. You must be delighted. Just tell us exactly what an eclipse chaser is.
It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's someone who chases eclipses. So this will be number 8 for me, totals. My first eclipse was in August 1999, and I've seen hopefully 7 since then. And this one here is about to start in a little over 5 minutes with the first contact of the moon onto the sun's disk. We were really nervous yesterday. The weather looked really bad, but today is glorious. So I'm really hopeful we're going to see it very soon. It's just such a fantastic experience that once you've seen it and you're hooked, you just can't help coming back for more, and that's why I'm here.
Right, and what is it about an eclipse that so fascinates you?
I mean, every single one, as people have been saying, is different. This one is in the Arctic Circle. It's bright. If you saw this one in Spain or the Balearic Islands, it would be much lower. It's a really different experience wherever you go. It's the people that surround you. It's a good opportunity to go and see really interesting places. And when else would I come to Greenland? And from a human point of view, it's just incredible to be there, because we're so lucky that at this precise moment in time and space, the universe is going to put on such a show for us. It doesn't care if we're there or not. The sun, the moon, the earth, they're all going to line up in this perfect line. And it's as close to a religious experience as you can get without being religious. And it shows you your place in the world, and it makes you feel really tiny and also enormous at the same time. And it's utterly remarkable and unlike anything else.
And give us a sense of the excitement of the people that you're with. There must be real, sense of anticipation.
There really is. We're on the deck of a ship. It's a small ship. There's 175 passengers and about the same number of crew. And we're in a tiny little fjord in the middle of Greenland, miles and miles and miles, like hundreds of miles from the nearest place. And we're surrounded by birds and icebergs, and everyone's outside. Some people are already having cocktails, and it's great. The atmosphere is just fantastic. And it's going to get better, I hope so.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope so for you. But as I say, it does look very clear there. There was all this talk about sort of clouds in Greenland, so you must have been watching the forecast pretty closely. So many of the people around you presumably have booked this months, even years ago, and are spending quite a lot of money on this.
Exactly, yes. I mean, it's not cheap to get to the Arctic. And this is a very nice cruise ship. But I got the option to come really very late because I was asked to come as a speaker on this trip. So I'm here with my 17-year-old. And it's such a fantastic opportunity because I'd never be able to do that with my family. Half of my family are actually in Mallorca, where I was meant to be. So we've got this crazy plan to try and live chat with them during our totality here, and for me to see totality on live with them from Mallorca as well. So if everything goes to plan, I hope I'll see it twice in one day, which will just be astonishing.
Well, that will be astonishing. Thank you very much. I should just ask you before you go, you've seen all these eclipses, is that the plural of eclipse?
It is, yes.
What's the best one? What is the best one?
Well, ask me again in about an hour and a half. So far, I think it was probably my favourite was the first one I actually saw total. The very first one I saw was completely clouded out in 1999, and we saw absolutely nothing. It was just thick clouds. So I was determined to go and see another one after that. And it was 2 years later in 2001. And I saw it from a sandbank in the middle of the Zambezi River in Zimbabwe. And it was incredible for many reasons, not least because it was a gorgeous eclipse, but also we were on the sandbank and there were animals, there were hippos. They got confused as the sunset came and the high sunset of the eclipse came, and they just turned around, walked out of the river, and then like 3 minutes later turned back and walked again. So it was incredible. It was just bizarre. But I'll tell you in about an hour and a half which is my favourite after this, because this one's standing a pretty good chance so far. And by the way, we just have, I believe, we're just hearing first contact here. I think I'm just going to put my glasses on and look, but I do believe we have first contact here in Greenland. Yeah, it's so small, but I think it is. We have first contact. The eclipse has started for us.
Well, that's it. Well, it's beginning. The start of the show.
It will be about another 45 minutes. I think it's 4:37 or 4 something. In about 45 minutes, it will be total here. And then another 50 minutes after that till the end in Mallorca. But certainly for us, the party's starting now, and let's hope it continues.
Well, listen, Sarah, it's been a joy to talk to you. Thank you very much, and enjoy every moment of it.
Thank you.
So, not long to go now until the big show here as well, but as you've heard many times, you must not look directly at the sun. So, what can you do if you haven't managed to get your hands on those glasses? Sky's Dan Whitehead has some of the options.
If you've not been able to get hold of proper solar eclipse glasses, don't worry, I've got you covered. Here are 3 safe ways to watch it without them. Okay, option 1, the most simplest, a kitchen colander and a piece of white paper or card. Key with this is to put your back to the sun at the moment of the eclipse. Hold out that piece of white paper and then bring in the colander, and you will see there a projection of lots of little suns. And at that magic moment when the moon crosses in front of the sun, you will see that projected right in front of you, and you'll be able to watch it safely. Option number 2, couple of white paper plates or white pieces of card. Put a pinhole in the middle of one of them and line them up, and you should be able to get a little dot, which is the sun. You'll get the perfect view of when the moon goes across it. Option number 3, a little bit more complicated, but probably one of the best if you haven't got the proper glasses. A bit of box and some tin foil and a bit of white paper. First of all, open your box and put your screen, a little bit of white paper, just inside one end of it, and then close the box back up. On the opposite end of the paper, you want to cut out 2 little rectangles. One here, that's your viewing window, and one here. Then you put a bit of foil over and a little pinhole. That's it. At the time of the eclipse, simply line up that pinhole with the sun and look in, and you'll get a completely dark screen and a picture of the eclipse as it gets underway. So there you go, a kitchen colander, paper plates and a cardboard box. 3 safe ways to watch the partial solar eclipse in the UK if you've been one of the many people who's not been able to get hold of the solar eclipse glasses.
Yeah, and Dan Whitehead with some very useful tips there. And this was the scene in Newquay a little earlier as people queued all over the place here to buy these special glasses. The line in this shop stretched right around the block, and it was pretty similar in many other shops, or around many other shops that were selling glasses here earlier today. Let's bring in Dan Whitehead once again. He's a little further along the beach from us here, and well, it's packed. People enjoying a lovely summer evening, and well, the build-up has begun, Dan.
It has, Mark, and what are we, about half an hour away now from first contact here in Cornwall, when we start to see that moon take a little bite out of the sun. And the tide, we're approaching high tide, so actually everyone's shuffling up to a ever-reducing amount of space on the beach, but they are all very excited to catch the glimpse as that eclipse, that partial eclipse here in Cornwall, gets underway. Let's have a chat with some of the families who have made the journey down. The Stott family are on holiday, actually, from Manchester. Andy, you actually had we didn't know about the eclipse, did you?
No, we didn't know. We just booked this last-minute holiday. As we're travelling down here, just heard on the radio that Wednesday would be quite a good event. So we just spent all day here, basically, just waiting for it to happen.
And now the last eclipse, what was it, 27 years ago, 1999?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it well. Trying to watch it from Manchester, but overcast, so we didn't really see much. But obviously, great day today, so we should be able to see it all.
You've got the weather for it, haven't you? Mum, Natalie, you're excited as well, aren't you? I know it's going to be a great moment, isn't it?
It will be a great moment. As I say, I didn't see the last one, so just to share it with Charlie would be a fantastic opportunity to see.
And Charlie, what are you looking forward to? What do you know about the eclipse? Because, of course, you certainly weren't around the last time we had one here.
It'll be super cold, 5 degrees. It'll be my first ever one. Then the sun, basically only 6%. Then, yeah.
So 96% of the sun going. What do you think that's going to feel like?
It's really weird and dark.
Really weird and dark. And you mentioned there that there's some talk that the temperature could drop by 5 degrees. That's quite welcome in the minute because it's hot, isn't it? It's been really,
very hot.
Really hot. How excited are you about it, Charlie?
Really excited because it's my first one.
Brilliant stuff. Well, we're not long away now, are we? Natalie, it's so important, isn't it, to share these experiences with your family, rather than in the school classroom, experiencing it in real life?
Oh, most definitely. It's something that you could go back to school and say you've seen it on the beach, clear as day. It's just a fantastic chance room.
Have you guys got your solar glasses?
We've not got any glasses at the minute, no.
Okay, well, let us gift you 3 pairs so your eyes are safe for the eclipse. Enjoy the moment.
Cheers,
thank you so much. The Stott family, one of thousands. We think around 3,000 people on the beach at the moment. The bar is hosting an eclipse party tonight, and the owner there was saying that he expected to go up to 6,000, probably from about now, once that eclipse starts. And at the peak in Cornwall here, around about 7:15, that's where we're going to see 96% of the sun go. Just have a little look down Fistral Beach here in Newquay. Just look how busy it is. Mark, just as you were saying, it is absolutely packed, and lots of people are very excited.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. And it's not just on the beach. And by the way, it's all the way along the beach from my vantage point. It's also right up there on the cliff tops at the northern end, this is, of Fistral Beach in Newquay. And already people are coming with their rugs and their chairs. And the families are out bringing their picnics. And they are in for a treat because the weather is set fair here, and it is quite a brilliant scene. Well, joining me now is the Executive Mission Director and Chief of the Iceland Space Agency, Daniel Lieb. Well, good to talk to you, Daniel, and I'm just looking behind you at the scene there, and well, it looks a bit grim. You're putting a smile on your face, I see, but yeah, well, you must be quite disappointed.
You know, I'm actually quite optimistic still. Although first contact is just about to begin as we speak, and we certainly have a fair amount of cloud cover, but those clouds are moving, and there's every reason to still be optimistic. We have time before totality, and our team is fully prepared. We've got our two Lunt solar system telescopes ready, and as soon as we have a bit of a cloud break, we're going to be catching the sun. That is our hope. I'm currently speaking to you from Snæfellsjökull National Park here in Iceland, and you know, the one thing we know for sure is that with regards to the weather, you never know. It's constantly changing, and we're ready for it. We're ready for the eclipse.
Well, I love your optimism. I love also that you've pronounced the word at the top of the screen, the place where you are, if we can get that back, because I was hoping that you'd pronounce it. Snæfellsjökull, is that right? We've lost the place name now.
Snæfellsjökull. It means snow mountain glacier.
Okay, and, well, I'm very pleased about that, and I'm... Carry on.
Yeah, Snæfellsjökull Glacier is a really, really special place. It's a stratovolcano that last erupted about 2,000 years ago. This is also the place where Jules Verne placed the beginning of Journey to the Center of the Earth. And there's a fantastic energy here. There's currently a music festival taking place here as well. There are thousands of people have gathered here at the end of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and we're all waiting patiently for these clouds to pass, and we have every reason to believe that we'll get our moment. So we're going to stay optimistic here in Iceland.
Yeah, well, I think that's the best thing. Just before you go, just explain what the Iceland Space Agency actually does.
Absolutely. So the Iceland Space Agency is privately organized, but we work directly with the ministries here in Iceland, with the University of Iceland, Háskóli Íslands, and we actually established last year the Iceland Research Institute of Space Science, which is a collaborative effort between all the universities here and partners abroad, international space agencies, including NASA, the European Space Agency, private organizations who are all interested in doing work and research here in Iceland. And we help coordinate and connect the dots between the researchers here and the researchers abroad. And there's a fantastic amount of work here. The Artemis astronauts have been here for the last 5 years straight, including just recently at the end of July. The Artemis 2 astronauts were here in August 2024 before they launched to the far side of the moon. And of course, before that, going back to the dawn of the space age in 1965 and 67, the Apollo astronauts were here as well. So in addition to the eclipse, Iceland is fundamentally important for the future of space exploration. If they need to test or train the crews or technology before the moon and Mars, they got to come back to Iceland first.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Daniel, and the best of luck with the weather. Now, someone who might get a better view is the actor and comedian John Colshaw, a self-confessed eclipse chaser who's on board the Ambition cruise ship in the sea east of Greenland. And from what we've been seeing, John, the pictures we've seen thus far from Greenland, it all looks pretty good. You must be quite excited.
Well, I am. I'm immensely excited, Mark. In fact, we'd almost given up hope. Even as recently as maybe 35 minutes ago, the skies were completely overcast, solid leaden, and we'd given up hope. We thought, oh, well, this is going to be an overcast eclipse. That might be slightly interesting. But then, as our ship sailed closer to the east coast of Greenland, there's that effect of the sort of the kick from the land itself, which seems to have caused the clouds to dissipate. So it's gone from leaden skies to completely clear. And I can see just through the eclipse viewers now that, yeah, the eclipse is well underway now. First contact, it's now, the sun is almost starting to look like a Pac-Man symbol. It's well underway, and beautiful conditions here. We're very lucky.
Yeah, well, I know you like a good eclipse. What is it that so fascinates you, John?
I think it's just the majesty of observing the clockwork of the solar system. And you're seeing this beautiful cosmic fluke that the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but 400 times closer to us. And so the two objects appear exactly the same size. And the building anticipation as the partial phases increase and increase and increase until you get the totality, which gives you the build up to that. The lighting is like nothing you've ever seen. It's a strange grey, monochrome, eerie twilight, which isn't like regular twilights. This can only happen during eclipse conditions when the sun is higher in the sky. It's frankly alien and very eerie.
I heard someone describe, someone who'd seen lots of total eclipses, describe it as almost a spiritual experience.
I think it really is almost a spiritual experience. Something just stirs and moves you inside when you're seeing a celestial event of this magnitude, and it's quite inexplicable. There's just, I think a total solar eclipse is the most spectacular sight in all of nature. And once again, it's the build-up until eventually all of the sun is blotted out by the moon, the Bailey's beads, the first diamond ring effect, and then the solar corona, the atmosphere of the sun, all of those silvery streamers spreading into the surrounding sky. The darkness, the stars come out, Venus will be visible, Jupiter and Mercury visible. That's quite something in what was hitherto a daytime sky. It's a magnificent, magnificent spectacle, and a wonderfully a deep partial effect in the UK. 96% of the sun covered, from 90% in other parts of the country. So it's a wonderful partial eclipse, and it'll be like a festival for those gathering to watch it.
Now, some might say you're there because it means that Brian Cox can be there. Yeah, I mean, look, you do him so well. What would he be saying about the possibility of viewing an eclipse this evening?
I think he would say that this shows the power of nature and of the science and clockwork of the solar system, which picks you up by the scruff of the neck and shows you the wonders of its power on Sky News.
And Patrick Moore can't be there, but what would he be saying?
Well, of course, the last eclipse I saw was in 1999 in Cornwall. It was clouded out there, although that was a very interesting experience. But totality, nothing beats it. It is quite spectacular, the finest sight in all of nature. And I wish everybody a very spectacular view. Don't forget to always use your solar binoculars or some very special eclipse viewers like this. Smashing.
Very good. Look, we had to get you to work for your supper, but
yes,
I hope
course.
it all turns out okay. I hope it all turns out okay, and it's been great to talk to you. Yeah, cross your fingers,
too, Mark.
and thank you very much indeed.
Enjoy it there. It's going to be spectacular and eerie and alien.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. Right, let's go to the other end of the path of totality. Our Europe correspondent, Alistair Bunkall, is in Palma, Mallorca. Getting closer, Alistair, set the scene there.
Yeah, Mark, people have travelled far and wide from around the world to be here. I think the Spanish authorities reckon at least 500,000 have come to Spain and to Mallorca just for the eclipse alone. I'm going to take a bet that few, if anybody, have travelled quite as far as my new friend James here, who's come from...
I'm from Connecticut, from the United States, yeah.
I suppose then the first question, if it's not an obvious question, why? Why have you come all this way?
I'm definitely here to see the eclipse. So I saw the one in 2024 and was amazed. So I definitely had to come here, and from my research, this looks like the best spot to view it. So
yeah, well, hopefully, I'm taking your word for it. That's why we're here too. I mean, we've got a very clear sight, very clear skies, and it's set to be quite amazing.
I think
I saw one in 1999, last time we could see it in the UK. I can't really remember it. You've seen one in 2004. You know, give us a flavour of what it's like.
Well, the temperature drops about 10 degrees when it actually happens, and I know I got really excited when it happened. Just I've never seen anything quite like it. Like if you haven't seen Bailey's beads, the pictures don't do it justice. I honestly recommend everyone should come see one. So there's nothing quite like the power of direct experience on that. So I definitely think everyone should see it.
Use it as a moment to travel around the world as well, see the world a bit.
Absolutely, yeah. That's how I intend to travel the world. I think next year we're gonna in 27 we're gonna go to Egypt. That's where the next one is. So then after that in 28 I believe we're gonna heck out New Zealand actually. So
you really are. I mean, you're an eclipse chaser. Fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Fair title.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Well, look, you've already got the T-shirt.
Yeah.
In about an hour and a half, you'll be able to tick off.
7:38 here. Yeah.
That's when
it partially should go over right over here. Yeah.
And then 8:31 local time.
8:31 local time here. Yeah. It's that's when totality begins, and if you're in this area, you'll be able to see it right here. I've come here for the last 7 days in advance to make sure that we can see it right here, which we can.
Okay, you've done your research.
Absolutely.
Good. That is reassuring, and you've got your cameras all set up.
Yep, I've got the cameras, I've got my phone, I've got my GoPro right over there, so we're set up to go. Yeah.
Leaving nothing to chance. Okay, James, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
As you say, what do you say? It's about 7:30 when it first starts.
Yeah, should be between 7:30, 7:38. Should be starting here in about
40 minutes
less than an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll see it, and then, as James says, 8:31, the total eclipse for 90 seconds, Mark, plunged into darkness, and then shortly after that, because the sun will only be 2 degrees above the horizon, we'll get a fantastic Mallorcan sunset.
Okay, Alistair, thank you very much. Let's come here back to Newquay and speak to our two guests here, Claire Foulon, Senior Lecturer in Solar and Space Physics at the University of Exeter, and also Catherine Hayman, Scotland's Astronomer Royal, and who has come a fair way south to get away from the clouds, not to get away from Scotland. We should make that point. So, I mean, what's clear, Catherine, is just this excitement that is building in so many places. In Greenland, where the weather is better than they thought it was going to be.
Fantastic.
In Iceland, certainly in Spain. And of course, right behind us.
I have seen so many people walking past with Weetabix boxes, with their pinhole cameras, ready to watch the eclipse. We've had loads of kids coming up asking us for eclipse glasses. I mean, the excitement is really building here. I have never seen a more packed beach.
I know. And I mean, the conditions are fantastic.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're going to get more and more people here. We've heard in Ireland the conditions are great. And now in Greenland, it's unexpectedly good. But they're all talking, and even the scientists are talking about the kind of visceral nature of this. And it's difficult to explain, I guess, isn't it?
I think, I mean, for some of us, it can be also an inspiration. We became sort of physicists, as astronomers. I think we hear stories of actually the inspiration that it creates also in the young generations for understanding why this is happening in the first place. And so, yeah, that can be quite a good start for younger generation. But the other thing that's maybe not mentioned yet is how the weather, I mean, you drop the temperature, it's going to contribute something to the atmosphere, and so there is some changes in the atmosphere, and I'm not saying it's going to change the weather like a butterfly, but it's kind of more important than a butterfly, right? So it's also maybe why it creates such a change and feeling, as well as maybe the fact that it's in our sky, and we always wonder about that. But yeah.
Right, I think we can actually show you the beginning of an eclipse, the eclipse in Iceland, and these pictures are courtesy of the Icelandic State broadcaster, RUV. And there you see the eclipse is underway in Iceland, and a clear view there. The fear was in many parts of Iceland, however, that it wouldn't be so clearly visible, but that is a wonderful shot as the moon just begins to edge in front of the sun in Iceland. And Catherine, people talk about the value for scientists of a total eclipse and the corona and so forth. What is the value to scientists of a partial eclipse?
I think, just everyone getting excited about it, to be honest. I mean, we're seeing the eclipse starting at different points on planet Earth, and that's because it's not just an alignment of the Earth, the moon and the sun, it's an alignment of your eye with the moon and the sun. It's very personal, and I just hope that everyone who gets to experience it today will really start thinking about their place in the solar system and their place in the universe.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Catherine, because this is a kind of mathematical coincidence, isn't it? Because you've got the sun 400 times larger than the moon. It's also 400 times further away. So you get, it almost looks as though they're the same size.
It's the weirdest coincidence that, that the moon, if we were on the path of totality, so agonisingly close, the moon perfectly overlaps with the sun. And it's this weird cosmic coincidence that the sun is so much larger, 400 times larger, but also 400 times further away. So we get these beautiful eclipses, which allow us to do a lot of science. You already talked to Carol Mundell from the European Space Agency earlier. But sort of looking back in the past, 1919, the fourth Astronomer Royal for Scotland, Frank Dyson, used the total solar eclipse that year to prove that Einstein's theory of general relativity was right. There's so much science that we can do, not just inspiring everyone here on Newquay Beach.
Yeah. Well, it's just past 6 o'clock. We edge closer to the beginning of the partial eclipse here, which we expect to start, at around 6:15?
So if you're up in the Shetlands, 8 minutes past 6, that's the first contact high up north in the Shetlands. And then, soon it will come. And I am so excited for my eyeball to line up with the moon and the sun.
Yeah. So you can have a very different eclipse in areas quite close together, can't you? Why is that?
It's just the whole alignment of everything, and we need globes here and balls, just how it all fits together. And everything's in motion. So you've got the Earth moving, which means the sun is going to be setting. You've also got the moon moving around the Earth. The moon's moving at about 1 kilometre per second. Relatively fast, but we see that as this slow progression, and depending on where we are on Earth, where the moon is, where the sun is, we see this different shapes we'll see in the sun that's happening at different times.
Okay, we will be back here in just a moment for the build-up to the eclipse here, but let's just remind you what's in store across the entire picture this evening. As you've seen, the eclipse has already begun in Siberia, in Greenland. Sarah Markham on that boat was telling us about that. In Iceland, as we've just seen from the state broadcaster there, Reykjavik should get a total eclipse at around 6:48 UK time, although there is a bit of cloud, as we've been hearing, in the skies over our turn in the UK and Ireland. The eclipse will start at around 6:15 and will reach the maximum coverage around an hour later, with parts of Ireland enjoying up to 97% coverage, just slightly better than the view we're expecting here in Cornwall. Pretty much all of northern Spain will enjoy a total solar eclipse this evening, and the weather there, as we've been seeing with Alistair Bunkall on that beach in Mallorca, looks pretty good. A Coruña will be the first to enjoy totality at 7:28 UK time. And we could be in for a pretty spectacular finish as the sun sets over the Balearic Islands, including Ibiza, while still in a total eclipse. Right, let's go to Ireland, and Stephen Murphy, who is at Blackrock Castle Observatory in Cork. A little earlier, he was promising us music. I assume there's real anticipation there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can probably hear a little bit of the music behind me, Mark, at the moment. There is good news and bad news for the crowd here in Ireland's Eclipse capital. The good news is that little table over there being mobbed at the moment, they finally started giving out on the stroke of 6 o'clock the much sought after Eclipse glasses. 7,000 have already been distributed by the team here at Blackrock Castle Observatory. But you can probably see, if Graham turns to the left there a bit, the queue, the demand here is pretty insatiable. That queue goes all the way down that street and around the right and around a corner. I don't even know where it ends. Two ladies who don't need to join the queue join us now. You thought ahead. These aren't the glasses, but these are. You managed to avoid the queue.
I did.
You're all set now.
I'm all set. Feel really privileged to have secured some glasses. It's such an exciting evening here in Blackrock. It's like hundreds of people around, thousands actually. So now we're just hoping for a chink of light to come through.
Yeah, it has clouded over a little bit. The forecast is pretty good. Are you worried at all now? Is the Eclipse capital going to get eclipsed itself? Or?
Oh, I don't think so. I think Anne has a great line about it.
Oh, well, I was just saying, just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. There you go.
That's a great attitude.
And I think, look, we're here. Look at the buzz, and I still think we might get a chink. It is getting a little bit thinner in parts of the cloud, so we remain optimists.
Well, a bit of time yet. We've got about 10 minutes before the thing starts, so you have enough time for another glass of rosé there. The queue is still moving, actually, and they're going to go outside the battlement walls to get a view. Here's one man who's also looking very calm and relaxed. Tim, all the way from Maryland. And the sun isn't the only thing disappearing here. A couple of frosty pints as well.
Yep. So live in Carrigaline, but came here 4 years ago from Leonardtown, Maryland.
And you were saying you were lucky enough to see a total eclipse at one stage.
Yeah, I was probably about 8 years old, so over 50 years ago in Columbia, Maryland, outside of Baltimore.
Describe what that is like and how you think tonight will compare.
Well, I don't remember a whole lot about it other than we were making homemade boards with holes in them to look at the eclipse. So I remember making the boards. I remember the eclipse a bit. We had a bright sunny day, no clouds. I'm a little concerned that the cloud cover might not work out for us this time.
It has clouded over a little bit, all right. And what does it? People have described it as sort of an emotional experience almost when it gets dark and the sun disappears. Are you hoping to emulate something like that here today in Cork if those clouds clear?
Oh, that would be interesting. I mean, I'm happy to be here at Blackrock Castle watching the eclipse. I hope we get to see it. And I had my wedding reception here 32 years ago. So this is a good place to be.
Lots of good memories of this place for you, Tim. Yep. That's right. Yeah. Thanks for speaking to us, Tim. Enjoy. The crowd is from all over, really. There's Spanish over there. There's French people there. We talked to some English people over there earlier. I'm looking for a Bilbao jersey. There's a group over here from Bilbao. Excuse me. Jeremy, hola. This group is from Bilbao. Yeah. We just see the Bilbao jersey disappearing. Back home, you have a total eclipse.
Yeah.
You're here in Cork today. What brings you to Cork, and why did you want to see the eclipse in Ireland?
Because I come to Cork for my English, and I'm very interesting for the eclipse, and I don't know. Can you repeat, please?
Are your friends and family in Bilbao? Are they very excited tonight?
Yes, very excited. Yeah, very excited. Yes, and me too. But I don't know. But I don't see the eclipse. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah, it's a bit doubtful. Jeremy, thank you very much.
Yes, I'm
thank
sorry.
you. Yes, no, very good. I mentioned at the start there was good news and bad news. The bad news, as you've probably gathered, is it is definitely clouding over a little bit here in Cork. We weren't really expecting this. Let's find somebody to blame. Dr. Niall Smith, you're the head of the observatory here. Yeah. You look a little bit worried, are you?
Well, the cloud is looking a little bit thick at the moment, so I guess there's a little bit of worry, but here's the thing we're doing. We're saying to people, this is a celebration, no matter what. And actually, even around 7 o'clock, it's going to start to get dark. It's going to get dark for 15 minutes. That's an unusual type of occurrence. We're saying to people, enjoy it. We have face painting, we have liner printing, we've got a band. So we're going to make a festival of it. Obviously, we're hoping the sun comes out.
Mark Austin is very excited about the band. We'll have a quick look if we have 30 seconds left. Tell us just about this facility, though, because a lot of people don't know about this. This is a working observatory, and it's a research facility, but it's housed in this 16th century castle.
Yes, so we've been here for 21 years. We have, you say, a working research observatory. We also have a public facility here, which is open 360 days of the year. And what we try to do is we try to say the following. We want to use astronomy as a way to bring people to be more closely connected to the universe around them. And today is a good example of that, I think.
Let's go down and see if we can find this band. Just tell us about the crowds here. I mean, I heard earlier you weren't expecting quite this turnout. If Graham could tread his way through the crowds there, excuse me, thank you. You weren't really expecting the demand for sunglasses, the atmosphere here.
No, so far we have distributed, even before this, we distributed 7,000 sunglasses free, solar glasses free. Tonight another 1,500 between here and 2 other locations in Cork. It just shows a huge appetite for this whole eclipse thing, which is fantastic to see, because you see kids, older people, it's of all ages, people from different parts of the world. It's a great mix.
Okay, now, just over there is where everyone will be going, by the way, down by the water side. But this is what you promised us. This is the local trad band. Tell us a little bit about it and what they're playing for us today.
Yeah, so they've actually, as you say, they're a trad band, but they've actually they've composed a song specific for the eclipse, which talks about the eclipse itself, about the effect that it has on different types of, birds and so on. So it's a really nice mix between traditional Irish music and science, and that's actually something that we like in the castle here, because the castle, is old, but we do new science in it. In a way, that's reflected in what we're hearing here, because we've got this traditional group, but they're also reflecting the fact that we've got an eclipse, and the eclipse affects all of the animals as well as the people around us.
We shall build a tower to heaven. We shall build a tower to heaven. We shall build a tower to heaven. We shall build a tower to heaven.
So there we are. Stephen Murphy promised us music, and he has delivered music in Cork, over there in Ireland. Let's just have a look at that picture we're seeing there, top left of your screen.
I was just going to wrap it up. But
Stephen, thank you very much, by the way. There. Now, this is Stavanger in Norway, and you can see the moon is inching across, and we're told that by 7 p.m. in Norway, that will be pretty much an 85% eclipse. So a partial eclipse in Norway that is well underway. Let's have a quick check what's going on here, and no, it'll be a few minutes yet before anything starts to happen here. But we can look at what's going on in Iceland, courtesy of the state broadcaster there. And there we are, RUV, state broadcaster in Ireland, bringing us those pictures of what is going on there. And that is on the way to becoming a spectacular total eclipse in Iceland. So there'll be great excitement there. Now, Claire, here, while we wait for the moon to do its thing here, you want to talk a bit more about the sun being 400 times larger, but also 400 times more, further away, which then sort of equalizes everything out.
Yes, sometimes it can be quite difficult to understand. So I want to give you an analogy, which is take a coin and then put it in front of your eye. And then if you have a big building in front of you, you will be able to hide this building just like that. So this is just a small kind of like thing that you can that can help you to understand
the mechanics of all this. Yeah, and Catherine, now you wanted to talk about why we're not seeing the moon, or why we don't see the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're used to seeing the moon in our night sky with the beautiful craters on it and things like that. But the moon doesn't emit any light. It just reflects the light of the sun. So the reason why in these images the moon is totally black is because the side of the moon that's being illuminated at the moment is on the other side. So we call this a new moon. It happens sort of every month, but that's why you get a new moon when there's a total solar eclipse, because the sun's shining on the far side of the moon for us right now.
Right, and the talk is of the way things change as the eclipse begins and as the moon moves across the sun and the light changes, and people always describe it, as John Coleshaw there, as being eerie and so forth. I mean, in the olden days, thousands of years ago, it was considered a kind of portentous thing, wasn't it? There was, you know, it was ominous.
Yeah.
People were worried. And it took, you know, years and years and years of science to explain things. But in those days, it must have been quite worrying to suddenly be plunged into darkness.
But mathematicians have been able to predict eclipses for a long time. The first eclipse was predicted back in 565 BC by Thales of Miletus. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. And, you know, people must have thought he was this amazing soothsayer, that he knew when this eclipse was going to occur and when. But it was just mathematics. He knew that the moon was moving around the Earth, and he knew that the moon was on a tilt relative to the Earth going around the sun, and he calculated when it would all line up and predicted that total solar eclipse with great accuracy. And so, you know, for thousands of years, we've been able to predict these eclipses, but we're not so good at predicting the weather.
Yeah.
But we're good here.
Yeah. So I was asked just a little bit further up the beach as I arrived today by, I don't know, it must have been 12, 13-year-old child who wanted to know what we were doing. And I said we were doing this programme. And she wanted to know about why we all couldn't see a total eclipse all the time, and why don't we see more eclipses. And I guess, look...
Such a good question.
Just try
it's such a good question.
That.
All right, so I'm going to give you the fried egg analogy. Are you ready? So we've got to imagine our solar system like a fried egg. The yolk is the sun in the middle, and the Earth is going around on the egg white. Happy so far? Yeah. So the moon does not go around the Earth on the surface of that egg white. It's slightly tilted by 5%. So sometimes it's above the egg white, sometimes it's below, but every so often it crosses. And the magic of the eclipse happens when you've got the sun and the moon and the Earth all on that flat 2D beautiful fried egg.
So look at the picture there on the left.
Oh, it's getting
Iceland,
so close, and we are
happening very quickly, doesn't it?
We are close here, and that's just the motion of the moon around the Earth. Isn't that beautiful to watch in real time, Mark?
And what can scientists learn from eclipses that they can't easily observe at other times?
Oh, Claire, you can answer. You're the solar physicist.
So yes, I think eclipses have been used in the past to look at the corona, and they are the traditional way to do it. But even in those days, our instruments are not able to reproduce the perfect eclipse. So we have what we call coronagraph, but the coronagraph have limitations. We can't just cover the disk. We have to cover more than the disk. So we never get to see the full solar corona as we will see in an eclipse. And the observations, all right? The observations are quite useful for modeling. So one important thing about the sun and every other star is that we don't know, we can't measure the magnetic field. We can't send a spacecraft and tell us what are the temperature or conditions at the surface of the sun, let's say, or in the corona. We can't do that. It's too hot. We will not be able to do that. So we have models, and so the observations of the corona are helpful to be able to test these models.
Right, now look, these are pictures, Catherine, from Greenwich Observatory, and we can just see now as the moon begins to encroach on the sun. We're going to have a look to see if we can
Yeah, I'm seeing it with my own eyes, Mark.
here.
It's just started, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just see now, can't you?
It's the very edge.
The moon just beginning to edge across. And
Isn't it awesome? All right, I'm going to get
people on the
progressively
beach.
more and more excited as this is going to go on.
Don't get too excited yet. Don't peak too early. But I mean, people on the beach carrying on as normal, they haven't realised that it has begun. It has, I suppose we can say, officially begun.
Officially begun.
Yeah. So, you know, explain what we're going to see in the next. What?
Okay.
I mean, how long will it take?
It's a slow process now, over 2 hours. The moon, as it's orbiting the Earth, is going to come and block out a lot of the sunlight for us, Mark. It's very gentle. I really love watching this. Is beautiful slow motion. And look, people at home, if you don't have these Eclipse glasses, there are lots of different ways that you can still track its progress as the moon moves in front of the sun. And particularly if you've got cloudy sky cover, see if you can go and look at it in the holes in the cloud cover, because this is not just, it's not just at the moment of partial eclipse that you want to look, the sort of the peak of the totality. You want to watch it all the way over the next couple of hours.
Right, now an amazing scientific phenomenon has begun, and people on the beach here don't seem to have recognised that because they haven't got the pictures we have. Dan Whitehead is down there. Dan, well, from my perspective here, things going on pretty much as normal down on the beach there.
Yeah, I mean, it is a party atmosphere down here. I'm just going to put my glasses on and have a look up, and I can absolutely confirm that we are seeing there the first bite into the sun. I can clearly see the moon in that bottom corner biting into the sun, bang on time, as we thought, 6:18 at the start of this partial solar eclipse. We've got about 50 minutes now as the moon passes across the sun. That's when we're going to see the 96%, nearly a total eclipse, covering the sun. I can tell you that the beach is absolutely packed. There are thousands and thousands of people filling Fistral Beach here in Newquay. Of course, it's the summer holidays. It is busy. We anticipate up to 6,000 people coming down by 7 o'clock to capture the maximum part of this eclipse. Such a special atmosphere here down on the beach. We've seen, look, throughout the day, the bar here on Fistral Beach doing an eclipse party, putting solar eclipse cocktails on the menu. They've been pouring those out. We've just been back up there. A real spectacular event going on in there, which will carry on into the night. Up on the high street in Newquay, lots of people queuing right from this morning. We're just shifting out because the tide is coming in on us. People queuing up outside the shops, trying to get hold of solar eclipse glasses. And I think people really are realising now. I must admit, a lot of people this morning were like, what's going on here? They didn't know, and they're cottoning on, and it's a real celebration. I must admit, every time we've come down, Mark, to do a live on the beach, we've been slightly mobbed, and we can see here that a little queue of people. And they have all come down. Does anybody need any glasses? Okay, so we'll give out a few pairs here. Here we go. And there we go. I got a lot. You've got to come down. I won't have enough for everybody. You're going to have to share. There we go. Little boys down here. Okay. I am out. I'm out of sunglasses. They'll have to share. The party atmosphere is beginning, but let me just have another look, Mark, because it is spectacular. I know we've got our special cameras looking at the side, and you can clearly see now there the moon moving in. What a moment, a real little bite out of the sun there, and that is only going to get more and more magical, of course. What are we looking at? 50 minutes, less than that, and it's going to darken, it's going to get cooler, and there's going to be a real atmosphere down here.
Yeah, and Claire, I mean, we can see very clearly now, can't you, with the glasses, that things have begun here. And it's interesting, how does an eclipse in the early evening compare, for instance, to a midday eclipse? I mean, because there'll be a lot of places, you know, people sort of getting up, going out, have a look. They won't be able to see because it is. I mean, I'm surprised actually at the moment about quite how high the sun is, but it is relatively low, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, over the course of the next 2 hours, it's going to be coming down and setting, and that's just the Earth turning. And it's going to be harder for our friends in Spain, because for them the total eclipse is really occurring when it's right on the horizon. So hopefully they don't have any cloud cover, because when you're looking out across the horizon, if you've got clouds, that makes it even harder to see it when you're looking along the horizon. But right now, yeah, beautifully high in the sky.
And we were talking to Carol Mundell from the European Space Agency, and she was talking about the corona, which is the phenomenon from a total eclipse, isn't it? I mean, do you see it at all in a partial eclipse?
No, it's too hard. You need to really block out all of the sunlight to be able to see the corona. But what's magical about it is that, it's one of the mysteries about the sun that we don't understand. So the surface of the sun is about 5,000 degrees Celsius, which you're like, oh, hot. The corona, this atmosphere around it, is up to 1 million degrees Celsius, and we genuinely don't understand why it gets so hot. Probably something to do with magnetic fields. And the European Space Agency have sent probes around it. There's the Parker Solar Probe that has been going around and around, actually has flown through the corona, which means that we can learn more and more about it. But this is the time to make those measurements from the ground, because luckily the moon blocks out all the light to allow us to really see what's happening in the corona. And I don't know.
Sorry to interrupt you, but why is it so interesting, the corona? Why is it so information rich? Why is it so, that scientists become obsessed by it?
Yeah, it's just, we don't understand why it's so hot, do we, Claire?
No, so there's more to it, obviously. One of the things you see in solar eclipse is what we call solar prominences. They are cool clouds of plasma compared to the corona. And usually they stay there and they don't move. And sometimes you see them in eclipses, it's quite clear. But one of the aspects of these prominences, we call them, is that they can erupt, and their eruption leads to these coronal mass ejections. And these coronal mass ejections, when they travel towards the Earth, they can also perturb our magnetic environment and lead to what we call space weather. So understanding the corona is key to be able to then predict space weather. So anyway.
And the sort of bit later on, the Perseid meteor shower. Now, we haven't spoken about that at all.
I'm very excited.
Are you?
Yeah, how late are we staying here tonight, by the way?
Well, because this is night sky phenomenon.
Absolutely.
And it was most August.
Yes, every August.
So explain what it is.
Okay.
Who is Perseid? What is Perseid?
Perseids.
Just
okay, so
far away.
1992. A dirty snowball about 25 kilometres across was hurtling through this part of the solar system that we are currently moving through at the moment. It's called Comet Swift-Tuttle. It flies through the solar system, loops around once every 133 years. And as it gets closer to the sun, it sheds tiny bits of rock and dust. And so it kind of leaves this trail of debris behind it. And planet Earth is currently hurtling and flying through this train of debris. Now, tiny bits of dust and rock hit our atmosphere at speeds of up to 45 miles per second, incredibly fast. And that causes you get these shooting stars across the night sky. But they're not shooting stars, they're just bits of interplanetary dust burning up in our atmosphere. Well worth looking out for. If you've got gorgeous weather like this, stay out after the eclipse. Get yourself a blanket, lie down, just look up. If you can get to a dark sky site, there is about one shooting star every couple of minutes. If you're in a city, it's more like one every 10 to 15 minutes, but well worth looking out for and making a wish on a shooting star.
Yeah, so as we can see, the partial eclipse here is well underway. I'm just slightly alarmed by how many people are on the beach here without eclipse glasses, and are looking up actually in sunglasses. but maybe that they do have eclipse glasses. They're not just using them yet. But anyway, it's a little bit worrying. Anyway, let's speak to science and space communicator Niamh Shaw, who joins me live from Ireland. Niamh, just explain exactly where you are and what are you seeing? Is that Niamh with her back to me at the moment? Hi, Niamh. Hi. Ireland. Yeah, sorry to interrupt your talk, but I just wonder. Hello, everybody in Ireland. Hello. I just wonder, where are you? Where are you? What are you talking about? And what can you see outside?
What are we talking about and what can we see outside? We're on our safety briefing, Mark, and we're just about to go outside to the car park in the centre of the town. We decided to bring the Eclipse to the town. So everyone in this room has a pair of Eclipse glasses. We have an astronomer over in the car park, Brendan Owens, who used to work at Greenwich Observatory. And I'll be going around showing people, you know, exactly what's happening with the eclipse. And we'll have other people join us, and we're all going to share our eclipse glasses. We're so excited, aren't we? Yeah. Oh, and we have a saying that we've all learned together. Can I tell you our saying, Mark? Can I share our saying?
Right. Well.
Okay, here we go.
Well, listen.
What we're never going to do. That's going to catch on. That's definitely going to catch on. Never, ever look at the sun.
Niamh, Niamh, I hate to tell you this, we can't hear you. We can't hear the singing. We can hear you, though, so just stay with me for a moment. Look, you love this sort of thing. Tell our viewers why it matters.
Oh, my gosh. Why does it matter? Because you will never forget today. I remember this when it happened in 1999 in a car park in Dublin. And I remember that it went dark. I didn't even have eclipse glasses. I didn't even have a viewfinder. And it just moved me. It felt like prehistoric. And I suddenly realized what it must feel like to have been alive 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, because nothing has changed, Mark. We may have Wi-Fi, we may have cars, we may have electricity, but the Earth keeps moving and the moon gets in front of the sun in the same way. And we just happen to understand it. And you get it in that moment, especially when the birds stop singing as well and when the temperature drops. So we're really excited. We're very keen to get outside. I've just given them a safety briefing and they're absolutely chomping at the bit, Mark.
Right, I read somewhere, Niamh, that you are an analogue astronaut at the Mars Desert Research Station, or you were.
Yes.
Just explain what that is exactly.
Well, it's the only place that people who are interested in space get to train. So I was with a bunch of geologists and astrobiologists who are interested in Mars. And so there's these facilities around the world. And what they do is they allow you to pretend you're on Mars. So I would go outside in a spacesuit. We would have to ask to go outside. You would only go outside for a couple of hours at a time. But the biggest thing was that we had a very limited supply of water, as you would on Mars. And so you became obsessed. Every time the toilet flushed, you would know, because it would be less water. After about 3 or 4 days, all I could think about was our water supply. That was the only thing that mattered. And when I came back to Earth, I never forgot it. So even now when I brush my teeth, I only use a few splats of water. Our toilet blocked, which would happen on Mars. And so, you know, you realize that you can be a lot tougher than you are. But what it really made me appreciate was oxygen on this planet, water, light, that when we go outside, we can just walk outside the door. And it really changed my attitude to objects and belongings, because the only thing that really matters really is family at the end of the day, and community. And it kind of set me on a course to go on different adventures, because I overcame my own fears around, you know, being out of my comfort zone. So it was an incredible experience. It really was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an extraordinary story, yours. And just try and explain the emotion you feel when you see an eclipse and a pretty deep partial eclipse, or even a total eclipse. What are your feelings?
It's very moving. It's very moving. I think we could start burying people, if they want to leave. It's very, you really feel very connected with the planet in that moment. You understand that You're on this rock that's absolutely bucketing its way through space, and that you're here for a really short period of time, and you're not in control, because you know this planet is orbiting the sun whether we like it or not, and we're moving through time. And there's this moon that we have, and from time to time the moon decides to go in front of the sun, and that has happened for years. It's happened for thousands of years. So there's this celestial clock that's ticking the whole time, and humans have nothing to do with it. So I'm no different between somebody from 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago. It's just that we understand it a little bit better. And you get that in the moment of the eclipse. When it goes dark, you realize that you're not in control, and that there are much bigger forces happening, and that we're really lucky to have a planet that gives us everything that we could possibly want.
Okay, just answer me one question. Why isn't everybody outside trying to look at what's going on?
Sorry, what was that, Mark?
Why isn't everybody outside trying to look at what's going on?
Yeah, we're all sending them outside now to look at what's going on, because you can see now, look at this. We've got the moon starting to go in front of the sun, so the eclipse is starting in earnest. And with the eclipse glasses or our viewfinders, we're starting to see that the sun has a little bit of a chunk taken out of it. And it's a great celebration. We have 200 people here. We're going to have another couple of hundred outside, and we're going to share that moment together, and also kind of explain to people exactly what's happening and how rare it is. I mean, the next time this neck of the woods is going to have something close to us, we all know, is 2090, right? And that'll be an actual cold over the cliffs. I'm not going to be alive around that. But I hope the children that are with us here today will remember this moment, and when it happens in 70 years' time, they'll be ready for it in a way that I wasn't in the car park in 1991.
Okay, well, listen, Niamh, thank you for interrupting your talk, and wave to the person behind you, and another wave there. And listen, enjoy your night. You're a great character, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks. Have a great eclipse, everyone.
Everybody, Catherine, everybody is just so loving it. Look now, Iceland.
I can see it with my own eyes, Mark.
No, that's Iceland. This is the picture from Iceland.
But I'm enjoying it in real time here.
No, but I mean, so Iceland, not far off now, sort of 14, 15 minutes from totality. So then we'll get the shot of what we were just talking about, the corona. You know?
I am really excited about this moment, and what I'm so excited about, Mark, there's that small chance that the sun will. I mean, the technical term is a coronal mass ejection, but I prefer to call it sun bath. It just spits something out of the corona, and maybe we'll be able to see something.
Right, so this is a little further north from where we are, Leicester. They're great shots, aren't they?
Just gorgeous. And I wonder if we
these
can
are
see any
wonderful
sunspots on those images. It's quite hard to see here in Newquay.
So time-wise, what are we looking at?
Yeah, okay, so you can. I mean, it's very gentle, but just watch that moon just very, very slowly moving across the sun. And, you know, it feels like the moon's taking chunks out of the sun, doesn't it? It's like,
Yes.
It's not eating up the sun, it's okay.
Well, this is what this is where we are now. But I mean, this is what they used to say, that monsters were taking
chunks out of the sun.
Chunks out of the sun.
The dragons come down.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just sort of imagining what it must have been like for the sun to completely disappear and to not know why, and that fear that they must have had in the past of it not coming back.
Exactly.
It's great that science has worked it all out.
This is a very interesting point. Not knowing why, not knowing why it's gone dark, not knowing when it will come back, the sun, not knowing whether it will come back. It must be terrifying.
Yeah.
Here we are, Spain now.
Spain. And now this image is taken through a different filter, so you can actually see that sort of granulation on the surface of the sun, which is sort of like this bubbling layer of plasma on the surface of the sun. And what's quite interesting is whether there are going to be any of these sort of plasma coming out of the surface of the sun in these ejections. And there are sunspots on the sun at the moment, not too many, just a couple of small ones. And that's where the surface of the sun is just slightly cooler, which is why it looks dark.
Yeah, so we're Villa Libado, is that image there in Spain, where they are expecting a total eclipse. Let's join Alistair Bunkall, who is in Mallorca, and so underway there, Alistair.
Yeah, I mean, the beach around me has really started to fill up now. People taking their spots, they've got their glasses on. People out at sea as well. A lot of people have taken the opportunity to get out on boats and get a bit of space around them to have a clear sight of the horizon. If Sam just turns the camera around, you'll see people sat perched on the walls up above, on rooftops as well. People taking any spot that they can get in order to see what will be a total eclipse. And if I put on my glasses, Mark, I can confirm that it has started. I can just see a tip of the moon now coming across the sun. So it has started here at 8:31, so less than an hour's time. What's that? Try and do my maths quickly. About 56 minutes from now, we will have a total eclipse. 90 seconds it will last for here in Mallorca, and it will be as the sun is just about to set. I think it'll be about 2 degrees above the horizon, and it will have that combination of a total eclipse, and then shortly after it, you will get a magnificent sunset as well. So, you know, this is the place to be. They know it. Some people are lucky enough to be here on holiday by chance, being able to experience this. Others, like a man I spoke to about an hour or so ago on your program, Mark, traveled all the way from the United States to be here. Others have traveled from around the world to be here. And this is the moment they've been waiting for. I can see, if I put my glasses back on again, you really now start to see the moon moving in front of the sun. So here in Mallorca, which will be pretty much the last piece of land to be able to see the eclipse from, it is underway.
Okay, Alistair, thank you very much. Let's go and have another look at the extraordinary shot emerging out of Iceland, courtesy of the state broadcaster. And we're expecting totality there in about 7 minutes time, so 1848 UK time. And Catherine, well, look, you know, it's spectacular, isn't it?
It is spectacular. And that crescent that you can see there now in Iceland, that's going to be what it's like for us here in the UK when we reach the peak of our partial solar eclipse. So sadly, we're not going to get the totality here in the UK, but we will get something as magical as this in about half an hour's time or so, depending on where you are in the UK.
And this is special for Iceland, the first total eclipse, I think, since the 50s, 1954.
Yeah, so total eclipses, they happen relatively often, but in very small regions of the globe. So if you pick any random place on the surface of the Earth, you'll only get a total eclipse every 375 years on average. Now, some places get it more often than that, some places get less, but for Iceland, this is rare, and you know, we haven't seen anything like this in the UK since 1999, Mark.
No. And how special a moment is this for Iceland? I heard it described this morning as a once-in-a-century moment for
you know, it is once in a life. If you're not prepared to do some eclipse chasing, oh look, it's getting closer and closer, Mark. If you're not prepared to do eclipse chasing and go and travel the world to hunt down these total eclipses, then you know it is a once-in-a-lifetime event. And look, that's the eclipse is getting darker and darker. And what will be happening in Iceland at the moment? Well, it will feel like it's nighttime, and soon enough they'll be able to see the stars in their daytime sky,
yes,
just because the entire light of the sun has been blocked out by the moon.
So their evening world is, you know, plunged into twilight in quite a dramatic way, isn't it?
Not twilight, total darkness.
Well, it will be soon.
Yeah,
yeah.
So right now, yes, very soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be total darkness, like night. But for just a couple of minutes, as the moon keeps moving, then the sun will appear on the other side.
So how dark do you think it will go here?
Now, here, for 96, it's I think, Oh, it's going to be hard.
It won't
to
be an
tell.
eclipse to that extent, will it?
We're not. Oh, it's hard to tell. Hard to time. That's getting close to 98, 99% there now. So for us, it's definitely going to get darker here in the UK. But the difference between a 99% partial eclipse and totality is actually huge, because if you're just at a 99% eclipse, you don't get that sky going completely dark and the stars coming out.
Yeah.
But I'm so pleased it's cloud-free for our friends in Iceland. This is marvellous.
Yes, there were all sorts of fears that it wouldn't be. I listened to Brian May, who loves his astrophysics.
He is an astrophysicist.
He is an astrophysicist.
He has a
He's got a PhD. I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. And he was saying that it actually reminds us what small players we are in this universe.
Yeah.
So now look here. This is the corona beginning, isn't it?
Fantastic.
This is spectacular.
So people call this a diamond ring. You just get this bright. Now, at this point in Iceland, they can take off their eclipse protection. And gosh, can you see the prominence there in the bottom left-hand corner? So that's a sheet of a plasma coming out of the surface of the sun. Oh, how marvellous is that, Mark? Gosh, look at that. It must be so magical. I wish we were there. Maybe we should have done this gig in Iceland.
I'm surprised you didn't go. But listen, we're very glad you're here. So now, this is the phenomenon that we were talking about earlier, the corona. Just explain that again, and why scientists are so keen to find out more about that and what it offers scientists.
Yeah, so the corona is this big mystery when it comes to the sun. You know, you'd think our closest star in the universe, we would know everything there is to know about it. We understand what's happening in the core of the sun, but when we look at the surface of the sun, it's about 5,000 degrees Celsius. But the corona, the sort of the atmosphere around it, which produces these coronal mass ejection events that cause the gorgeous aurora, the northern lights that we get to sometimes see here, that is about 1 million degrees Celsius, and we genuinely don't understand how it heats up to such a temperature. And it's important for us to know, you know, aurora are beautiful, those gorgeous northern lights. When we see the ejector from the sun, it flies across the solar system and hits into our atmosphere. Most of it bounces off thanks to our magnetic field, but some of it comes down at the poles to produce the northern lights. And that, if there is a really massive coronal mass ejection event, then that is actually a problem for society here on Earth. And people do worry about space weather and what impact that has on us here on Earth. And so we really want to understand the corona better. Gosh, look, Mark, it's gone completely dark now in Iceland.
Yeah.
They'll be starting to see the stars. Some of the planets are up at the moment as well, so they'll be able to see them.
Yes, well, I was going to say, let's just stop and enjoy the picture, but it is, well, it's stunningly dark, isn't it?
And here comes the limb of the sun now coming out on the other side. It's a very quick total eclipse, this one. So it's just just a couple of minutes long, and here the sun starts coming back out again.
Let's just watch and wonder at these pictures. Right, this is a different picture now. This is a picture from another broadcaster in Iceland. This is in Reykjavik, shot from the ground, and it's the light kind of slowly returning, as you can see there. There we are. I mean, this is the darkness it was plunged into.
Oh gosh!
How eerie is that as the light?
That's very eerie. Our friends in Reykjavik appear to be under the clouds. Oh, that's a shame. But look, here the sun's coming back out again. So they have been put into pitch black darkness for just a couple of minutes. Now the sunlight returning.
Yeah, and this is the original shot from the RUV, the state broadcaster of the total eclipse in Iceland.
Now the moon is still moving in front of the sun, and that path of totality is now going to move south across the seas and come down until we see a path of totality in Spain. And right now here in the UK, I'm looking, we're about half covered here in the UK at the moment.
Let's come a little bit closer to home, and this is where we are, and that is Fistral Beach right there from helicopter. Wonderful shot, and we're at the far end of that beach. That's where we're set up to. That's our vantage point, and beach absolutely packed, and people looking in wonder and in awe at that shot that that we're showing there now. That pretty much halfway across, would you say now?
Yeah, almost. It's just spectacular, Mark, and it's sort of seeing the moon in a different way. You know, we're used to seeing the moon in our night sky and in our daytime sky, but we can never see a new moon because it's not reflecting any light. So the only way to really see where a new moon is during a partial eclipse like this, and there it is, right in front of the sun.
So in terms of, you know, what kind of partial eclipse we'll see, how much of the sun do you think will be covered?
So we're down in Newquay, so we are getting a 96% partial solar eclipse. For my friends up in Scotland, it's slightly less, 90% up there. But you're going to, when we reach the peak of our partial solar eclipse here in the UK, it will be just like a crescent at the edge of the sun, not quite completely overlap. Oh, we are agonisingly close to a total eclipse, and just like our friends just saw in Iceland.
Yeah.
So yes, what you can see here in Iceland, that is similar to the sort of the level of the partial solar eclipse that we're going to be able to see here.
Okay, Catherine, keep those glasses on. Keep monitoring things here for us. We're going to go up to Bath and speak to Simon Holbeck, who is chair of the Bath Astronomers. Good evening, Simon, and give us a sense of what you can see where you are.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, we've got a bit of a party atmosphere going on here. 100 or so people having their picnics, and we've got about 15 or so solar telescopes. Everyone's been issued with their eclipse glasses. And so, yeah, everyone's watching this spectacle of someone's licking the sun. The celestial dragon is eating the sun today.
Right, so you have your solar telescopes and your eclipse glasses, and everyone's getting a good view.
Yeah, everyone's having a great view whilst filling their faces with loads of lovely treats as well. So that's the best way to do science, on a full stomach, and with some great new telescopes that we've purchased especially for this event as well, to make sure that we've got enough for everyone to look through.
Some of your friends, I gather, headed off to Spain for the total experience, the total eclipse. Were you tempted to do the same?
Was tempted, but I'm perhaps going to save my money for next year when there's a total solar eclipse off North Africa, and totality is going to last a little bit longer. So working the old budget and bang for buck. But this is spectacular, so this is a great primer, potentially for a trip I might do next year. But this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm very envious of my friends that have popped down to northern Spain to see the totality.
Yeah, and what's the reaction of the people there? We can see behind with their eclipse glasses, looking up at the sun now. What's the kind of atmosphere there, the mood?
Oh, it's quiet excitement. There's a little bit nervousness. Like, a lot of people have never seen an eclipse before, and will it come back? And sort of, can I look at it without the glasses, and then realizing, no, it was right about what we said with the glasses. But yes, there's a little bit of tension in the air. It's building as more and more of the sun is disappearing. So there's this sort of tense excitement going on. And we've still got the strong hubbub up. And gosh, the telescopes constantly need maintenance. We've got people so excited, they're touching the telescopes and moving them. So I'm getting pulled away to go and sort telescopes out as well, but I don't mind. It's very exciting for everyone, including myself. I've had a build-up of 4 or 5 months for this, and so this is the day where it's all come to fruition.
Now, I was reading earlier that you picked up a space book at the age of, what, 7 or 8, and you've been obsessed ever since. What is it about space? What is it about eclipses that so fascinate you?
Oh, just think, there's a billion tons of rock that's moving in between the Earth and the Sun. That's exciting, isn't it? That we've known about how to predict these for over 2,000 years. Right? And we've had the maths to do that. We've had the ingenuity. That just boggles my mind, the whole eclipse kind of thing. But just looking beyond and seeing all these wonderful things. Those lucky people at Totality, they'll get to see some of the planets that are near the Sun at the moment. Jupiter as well. Being able to go out and see other planets, seeing the stars, seeing the atmosphere of the Sun that can never be seen at any other time. It's all really amazing. As you can see, I'm a little excited.
Do you think enough is taught, Simon, about space and astronomy in schools today?
I don't, and that's why I gave up the day job and I actually created a business to actually go into schools and help them out, to come up with material and workshops and lessons and sort of take space to them to essentially ignite the energy, the spirit within our classrooms, within Somerset and West Wiltshire. So it's a great job. It needs to be done to give those people, give those teachers, those hardworking teachers, that extra impetus, the extra material they need to make it really engaging for absolutely everyone in the classroom. So I love it. I've made it the day job.
All right, Simon, listen, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us, and enjoy your night. And
thank you very much.
Just have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Simon Holbeck there of Bath Astronomers, and this is the scene in Norway, as you can see there, and a partial eclipse, and quite a substantial partial eclipse in Norway.
Yeah, it's actually looking not too different from here as well, Mark. I've been watching it while you've been talking to Simon in Bath, and it is really starting to get that arky crescent shape now here in the UK.
Yeah, well,
that's we can also see in that image in Norway as well.
Bottom left.
Yeah, we are getting closer to the peak of the partial solar eclipse here, you were talking to Simon there about do kids learn enough about astronomy at school? And I think the fact that everyone's here, people love astronomy. They love looking up into space and thinking about, why are we here? Where do we come from? And it's just gorgeous to watch. It feels like it's really getting a bit darker here now, doesn't it, Mark?
I was just about to say the same
and it's
thing.
cooler as well.
Yeah, and less wind, actually.
Yeah.
So it's underway here. That's the shot of Newquay from the Sky helicopter, Fistral Beach, where we are. Let's go down onto the beach and speak to Dan Whitehead, who is speaking to some of the people here.
Yeah, Mark, you can feel it already. What are we about? Half of the sun, more than that now, being covered by the moon. And you can tell down here that it's already getting a little bit quieter. It's definitely getting a little bit darker, and people are getting really excited. We are with a big group of families who've come down from South Yorkshire and North Derbyshire. Tony, one of the dads here.
Oh, yes.
Tony, what a great experience this is.
Amazing. The kids have been so excited. We didn't really know about it until about 4 days ago. So quickly on the old, trying to order some glasses. And here we are, enjoying the event. It's amazing. Kids are dead excited.
You're a big group from. Where have you come from?
Some are from South Yorkshire, some from South Derbyshire, North Derbyshire, I should say. There was about 8 families, and we're dwindling down slowly. We've been here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week, and we're ready to go home.
You've got your glasses. What are you making of it so far?
Well, the last time I saw this was in the 70s. It's absolutely amazing. Looks a little bit like a thumbnail. It's awesome, absolutely brilliant. Kids will have a better idea, though.
Let's go and have a little chat with some of the kids, because this is, first time for many people experiencing this. Where's Aria? Hi, Aria. How old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
8 years old. You've been having your glasses on there, having a look up. How does it make you feel when you see the moon crossing the sun there?
Well, it makes me feel really confused because I've only this is my first time seeing this. So I'm really excited.
It's amazing, isn't it? And what does it feel like at the minute? Because it's got a bit darker, hasn't it? What's it feeling like?
It feels really weird because it's getting darker and I haven't really, seen this that much.
Amazing. Well, look, we're nearly there at that moment when nearly the whole sun, is going to be covered. Jasper, we'll take your glasses off for a moment. How are you feeling about it? What do you make of it? It's incredible to see, isn't it?
Yes, it is very incredible.
What do you make of it? How are you feeling?
Excited because it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It is, isn't it? Rory and Fionn over here. Obviously, this is the first time. It's 27 years ago, so long before you guys were born, that we had such a significant eclipse. What are you making of it, Rory?
I'm just excited to see it because it's the first time I've ever seen it, so I'm just really excited.
Yeah, and Fionn?
I'm really excited to see what all the animals do because I think they're all going to go crazy and see. I'm really excited to see if it goes all cold and not as hot as it was today.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on. I think we're going to see some real impacts. I think maybe the birds may go quiet. We'll see. Look, you get your glasses back on. These guys have come fully prepared. They've got all of their glasses on here. They've been playing the music and they've been enjoying a real bit of a sing-along, haven't they? And it is a carnival atmosphere down here. What are we, 10, 15 minutes away from the 96% of the sun here in Cornwall disappearing. What a moment this is.
Yes, Dan, down there on the beach in Newquay, and it's 7 o'clock, and as Dan was saying there, we are now just 15 minutes away from the totality of the partial solar eclipse.
The peak of the partial solar eclipse. We better not call it totality.
The peak of the partial eclipse is probably the way to say it, but you're right. It's now definitely.
It's so much cooler. I mean, this spot is a lot happier now. It's cooled down a wee bit.
Definitely getting darker. It's definitely getting cooler. And how much further do you think we're talking? I mean, we know it's 14 minutes, but in terms of how much of that sun will be covered there?
Quite a bit more. So 96% here in Newquay. It is going to be a sliver crescent at the edge, so it's going to get even darker than this. It feels like the sun should be setting based on how light it is right now, but it's still really high up in our sky at the moment. And people around the beach who don't have eclipse glasses, so who haven't been watching it so far, are really starting to notice now that it's getting quite a bit darker and quite a bit cooler.
Yeah, and that shot there, bottom left, is just behind us, away to our right as we look at the beach. And they are the cliffs just above Fistral Beach, the northern end of Fistral Beach. And more and more people have arrived because that is a spectacular vantage point, isn't it? It really is. And people still need the shade there. It is still reasonably warm, although getting cooler
It is getting cooler
by the minute.
The surfers are all out in the ocean as well, watching from their vantage point on their surfboards.
Yeah.
It's a real party atmosphere, actually.
It really is. And so what we're talking, 15 minutes or so before the peak of the partial eclipse. Let's go back to Dublin, Stephen Murphy. Stephen, what's happening? What are you seeing? You're at Blackrock Castle Observatory there. Bring us up to date.
Well, what we're seeing is an awful lot of cloud, Mark, at the moment. After a beautiful day here in Cork in the south of Ireland, clear skies, lovely sunshine actually all throughout the day, and you can probably see quite a decent crowd gather behind us in the grounds of the observatory here. It's located in a beautiful castle just behind the camera. A lot of people looking towards the camera because that's west behind the camera. you may notice not a lot of eclipse glasses on right now. There was a huge line for those earlier, but we are, same as you guys really, quite 45 minutes or so into this event now. It is darker, it is a few degrees cooler. One of the locals is pointing out that some of the lights across the river have come on. They don't usually come on at this time of the year until about 10 p.m. But overall, I think a slight sense of anticlimax or disappointment so far in terms of just the sheer drama of what we should be seeing just that way behind a turret and battlements. That's where everyone should be looking right now. But you can see there from those shots the sort of dark clouds that have swept in. Because on the one hand, the south and the southwest of Ireland is the best place to see the deepest eclipse today, sort of 96 to 97%. Ironically, I'm hearing that the further north you go, where it drops to maybe 90% if you head up towards Dublin, and then further north, they're actually got clearer skies there. So they may be having a bit more luck there than we are at the moment here. But there's still a great sense of excitement. Lots of children flying around here at the moment. They haven't given up hope just yet. We have a bit more time on our hands to see if there's any patch of sky. And there is a few patches of clear skies, but at the moment, I'm afraid the notoriously unpredictable Irish weather is obstructing this fantastic event here for now.
Get a shot of... Okay, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. And that is a great shame. Those pictures just behind you there, the cloud cover. Huge disappointment there. Ireland.
Astronomers are constantly shaking their fists at the clouds, Mark. But for people at home who don't have eclipse glasses, now is the time to get out your colander. Don't look through the colander. What you're wanting to do is have the sun shine through your colander, and you're looking at the shadow of it on the ground, because right now, if you do this, the shadow of the holes will give you crescents.
Yes, so it's not looking through the colander at the
No, but this is the moment to get your colander out, because it looks so different from earlier. These sort of holes that you have in your colander, they make a projection of the sun on the ground, and right now we've got this crescent sun up there because the moon has moved in front of it, and you can see the projection of that crescent on the ground or on the wall. It's well worth rooting around in your kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, well, listen, you should be looking at the sun, but look through those. There we are. Look through those, and then...
Pretty awesome, huh?
Hey? How's that? What did you think?
Not bad.
Have you ever seen the sun like that? Amazing. No. There we are. Yeah. Do you want to look as well?
Everyone is really enjoying.
We're here to help.
We are so close to a crescent here. It's gorgeous.
Yeah?
Yeah, so close.
It will go quite dark, yeah. That's what we're expecting. I've been looking down the beach to see how many colanders I can see, and there are not many.
I've seen quite a few walking past. People with Weetabix or cereal boxes with pinhole cameras made, and now is the time to really get them out, because you can see those crescents projected through the colander.
So I'm just looking at the picture here, because we can see the picture the viewers. I mean, it is really eerie now, isn't it? And
yeah, it feels all wrong, doesn't it? Because the sun is still high in our sky.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's the sort of the darkness of sort of early evening, isn't it? It's very eerie right now.
And of course, I mean, you know, I keep mentioning, you know, the sort of thousands of years ago, what they must have thought when this was happening. But there's an impact too on the wind, the temperature, the light, on the birds.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't heard many birds, but you can't really hear them over the people here. No, it's this sort of moment of sort of cosmic nature where everything comes together, and you know, you can only imagine what people made of it in the past. Seeing the sky go dark like this when the sun's still clearly in the sky, because of course in the past they wouldn't have had eclipse glasses like this, so they wouldn't have been able to see that gorgeous crescent that we can see right now. They would have just known that the sky was getting darker and it was getting cooler.
Yeah, so we're still 8 minutes to go.
Gosh.
So it could be a very thin
I think it might be, Mark. I'm getting progressively more and more excited.
Eventually see. Let's have a look. Yeah, it really is an extraordinary sight. And now there are more and more people here now with eclipse glasses. But It's getting darker, it's getting chillier, well, it's quite spectacular, isn't it?
I know, I'm lost for words actually, Mark, because I just...
The Astronomer Royal of Scotland is lost for words. You're literally here to speak.
I know, sorry, I'm supposed to be focusing on you, Mark, and I'm so excited about the question.
I'm getting quite emotional. I mean,
I don't know, it's so beautiful seeing that motion in real time and knowing, so I've got this picture in my mind of the solar system, Mark, the Earth, the moon and the sun all in a line, and it's not just planet Earth, it's you and me right here in that line with the moon and the sun, and the distances are so great, and the sun is so large, 400 times bigger than the moon, but 400 times further away, and just seeing this all in real time in the most amazing party atmosphere. Well done, Newquay. No, I am lost for words.
Well, no, but it is. I do feel that something bigger is going on. We're a very small part of this universe. Yeah. This all is part of the emotion, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. The sun is our nearest star in the universe, and we have this weird cosmic coincidence here on planet Earth that we have a moon orbiting around us that just happens to block out the sun every now and again. Yeah. But our sun is just one star in over 100 billion stars that make up our own Milky Way galaxy. And to think about the planets that are orbiting those stars, and maybe who could be there looking at eclipses on their own planets. It just makes me think really big when I see these astronomical events in real time.
Yeah. Now NASA put a plane up. I think there's a plane going up to about 50,000 feet. Went up earlier from, I think it was Iceland, and then it follows the path of totality all the way down. So in a way, really chasing the eclipse, or the eclipse is chasing the aircraft, but in sort of shadow, I would imagine, being at 50,000 feet. And this happening.
And watching it must be spectacular.
It must be spectacular.
Yeah. And they're doing that in order to maximise the amount of time that they have to study the sun during the total eclipse. We saw earlier the total eclipse in Iceland. It lasted for just a couple of minutes. The same in Spain. But by following the path of totality like that above the clouds, it means you increase the amount of time that you can study that magical solar corona to really understand the science of the sun.
Yeah, and this is Leicester in the English Midlands, and I think that's what they're going to get. That's it. That's the extent of the partial eclipse.
The crescent sun.
In Leicester. But spectacular nevertheless.
So rare to see a crescent sun like that. We're used to seeing a crescent moon, aren't we? Which is just when only a small part of the moon that's illuminated is turned towards us here on Earth. But now we're seeing that crescent sun with the moon completely, well, not completely, almost entirely blocking out the sun.
Yeah.
And the far side of the moon right now is being illuminated by the sun, and that's why the side of the moon that we can see is dark. There's just no sunlight on it. It's blocking the sun out completely.
And the NASA plane that we're talking about, we're hopefully going to speak to someone from NASA in the next hour. But that is about taking as many images as they possibly can.
Absolutely, yeah.
The European Space Agency also talked about their missions that are going on, which involves lots of photographs being taken. I suppose one of the problems with studying the sun is you can't get very close to it.
Well, so there is a European Space Agency project called the Parker Solar Probe, which has been going and visiting the sun. It keeps doing these orbits. I think it must be almost on its 20th journey around the sun now. We keep waiting for it to break.
So how close?
It gets really close. So one of its last passes, it actually touched the corona. It's sort of 1,000,000 degrees Celsius, and it wasn't designed to carry on doing these orbits, but somehow it's still working, which is fantastic to see, or at least it was the last time I looked.
1,000,000 degrees Celsius.
I'm going to have another look, Mark. Oh gosh, Mark, you really need to turn around and have a look. We are so close to an absolutely minuscule crescent here in Newquay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
3 minutes away
Spectacular.
from the extent of the
I mean, I can
partial
see
eclipse
just a
here
sliver.
in Newquay.
It's just a sliver of light now here in Newquay.
And the Astronomer Royal of Scotland is very pleased to be here because up in Scotland they won't be seeing quite as much.
So it's a 90% partial eclipse up in Scotland. I'm not following the weather up north, so I hope my friends in Scotland have got some holes in the clouds so they can witness this as well.
2 minutes left. And you were talking about the corona and how some of these sort of missions get quite close. I'm interested in this because how big is the corona? Is that? I mean, is it sort of thousands of miles? How big is it?
I don't know the answer to your question, Mark.
You don't know the answer. Well,
Oh,
can
it's
we find
live
out?
television. Yeah, we need to get Claire back, the solar physicist. Get Claire back.
But I mean, it's huge.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. No, the sun is this massive ball of burning gas. It weighs 2 with 30 zeros after it kilograms. And it is burning hydrogen in its core to make helium and the light that we can see here. And it is an absolutely, I mean, if we didn't have the sun, then we wouldn't.
Listen, I think let's have a look because it's 45
it's
seconds.
It's getting so dark
it's 45
now, isn't it?
seconds to the extent of
I can see
the partial eclipse, so we can have a look.
the tiniest crescent now. And it's so dark on the beach, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, 20 seconds to the extent of the partial eclipse.
And what's interesting, Mark, is the orientation of the crescent is changing. So when we first started seeing it, it was sort of on to the left, and now it's moving around to the right. And that's just the moon moving across, just skirting below the upper limb of the sun. And now it's starting to come
so that's
back
it.
again.
That's the peak. We've reached the peak
We've
of
reached
the partial eclipse.
of the partial eclipse. And oh gosh, we were so agonisingly close to totality here, weren't we? Just a sliver of sunlight left.
Let's just have a listen to the crowds here and just watch these pictures of the peak of the partial eclipse here in Newquay.
Crowds are cheering.
Yeah, well, the crowd's clearly aware now that this is the thing. And it just shows, I mean, I'm just sort of catching a glimpse of it in my naked eye. It just shows how...
No, don't look at the sun with your naked eye, Mark. Don't do it.
At a different angle, but I mean, you can't see anything anyway, can you, with the naked eye?
No. The eclipse glasses are just magical. But people at home, if you don't have eclipse glasses, do get out your colanders because you will see the projection of the sun through the holes in your colander, and you will see the crescent that you're seeing on the television here right now.
So, well, I hope people enjoy it because it's a long time to the next one, isn't it, Catherine?
Absolutely. So you get partial solar eclipses every couple of years or so, but never anything as magical as this. So we typically have sort of 20, 30, 40% partial solar eclipses. For something like this, again in the UK, you're looking at least until 2050. And if you want to witness a total solar eclipse in the United Kingdom, Mark, I think you and I are too old for that.
I think, yeah.
23rd of September 2090.
2090.
Yeah, so if I've never seen a total solar eclipse, Mark.
No.
I've never seen one.
You've only just told me that now. So really,
this is really magical for me.
So I've got a question for you then. Why aren't you in Spain, or why aren't you?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. So
I'm very pleased you're here, by the way.
I think right now, Mark, you and I need to make plans. The 2nd of August, 2027.
Next year in Spain.
We can go to Malaga, Gibraltar, or Algeria. That goes across the Middle East. I mean, we can decide on the destination. But what do you think?
Well, I'm up for it. I mean, I was there in '99. In Devon. I was on a hillside in Devon, and that was pretty special.
Spectacular.
So, anyway, listen, I'm being told we've got to go down on the beach here, where it is getting eerily dark, but we'll be brightening up soon again. Dan Whitehead is there, and Dan, look, he does look as though it's getting dark. It's going to brighten up soon, Dan.
It is. I think you can actually feel it starting just to brighten up. What an incredible moment. And the whole beach just erupted. It was a real emotive moment. People were cheering as it really fell dark. You could see now the shadows are still here. It got cooler. It got darker. I had goosebumps. It really was something absolutely incredible to witness. Let's go and get some reaction from the families we've been speaking to here today. Tony, I know that we were chatting to you just before.
Yeah. Hi.
I mean, we were tingling, weren't we, there?
Amazing. The kids were so excited. I don't think, well, I'm not going to see it again. The kids are absolutely buzzing. The parents were having a great time. It's been amazing.
What did you make of it? I saw at one moment you were sort of whooping.
I can't quite believe what you see sometimes. It's the freak of nature. Just unbelievable. Absolutely amazing.
It was emotional.
Very emotional, because we'll never see it again. Just absolutely fantastic.
Let's go and get some reaction from people who will see it again, albeit quite a long time till we get such a spectacular view again. Kids, we're coming out the other side of the eclipse now. Aria, what did you think of that?
It was really cool. I loved it. I thought it was going to be like, not really like what I was thinking, but it was so much cooler than I thought.
What did you notice about it?
I noticed that it got all darker, and then now there's still some shadows of it, and all the birds went a bit, fast. I think they got a bit scared.
Did they?
Yeah.
But you loved it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Jasper, what did you make of it, seeing that?
I thought it was really cool. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, it was really cool looking through the glasses and seeing what it did. The sun was on the left and now it's changed.
Amazing, wasn't it? Girls, can we have a chat to you back? Because I know we chat to everyone on the row here. What did you think about that? Because it sort of felt incredible. Everyone started clapping, didn't they?
Yeah, it was so good. It was amazing to see. It's probably a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, so it was really cool to experience that. Yeah.
And how did you feel when that sort of maximum 96% of the sun was covered? What were you feeling then?
It was just so cool. We'll probably never see it again, so yeah.
And what about yourself?
It felt a bit weird because it all went quite dark and
Fantastic. Well, it's starting to get a bit lighter now. The shadows are still here, but you could really tell that moment there where we had that sort of partial totality, where we had that 96% covered. Everyone seemed to know at the same time. Everyone, I say, around the doors, they were whooping, people started to sing, and we had those 2 or 3 minutes there of almost eeriness, of coolness, of emotion that you could really feel on the beach. And then it was like a dawn as the moon passed further on and that light started to come round that crest on the other side of the sun. And what a magical moment for us all to experience.
Okay, Dan, thank you very much indeed. And Professor Catherine Hayman is still here with me. And beyond the spectacle of the eclipse, why does studying the sun matter so much?
So, we are concerned about geomagnetic events in space. So when there is a massive solar flare, I mean, we celebrate, particularly up in Scotland, because we get to see these gorgeous northern lights, those beautiful colours in our night sky, blues and pinks and purples. But it is actually a problem for us in humans on Earth because it disrupts power grids. And the stronger the solar mass ejection events, the more problematic it could come. It's a problem for satellites as well, and communication. So we're currently coming out of the sun's peak of its solar cycle, so we're going to see less aurora over the next few years. It's about an 11-year cycle, but as it will start to build up again in another 5-6 years' time, then there is a concern that there will be a major eruption's not the right word, mass ejection of high-energy particles. And we really need to understand the sun to protect us here on Earth.
Right, because we always think really of the sun in the context of weather, don't we?
For sure, yeah. So your everyday weather. Now, us understanding what's going on in the sun and the corona doesn't affect our day-to-day weather here. But when we talk about space weather, we're talking about those high-energy particles flying through our solar system. Thankfully, the magnetic field around planet Earth protects us from most of them. But the more there are, the more problematic it could potentially be.
Yeah, it's coming much brighter now.
It is, isn't it? There we go. It's not all over though. I can still see a gorgeous crescent there.
And you were saying you've never seen a total eclipse, which I can't believe. But well, next year will be your year.
Next year, you and me.
But what can you determine from each different eclipse? I mean, because why go on studying eclipses if they're all the same? They're different. And what can scientists determine from each?
So I think, when we were looking at the images of the total eclipse in Iceland, we saw that prominence on the lower left side. There'll be lots of people being able to study that, and that's really exciting that something was happening on the limb, so we can see how those. What is the physical mechanism inside the sun that's creating these flares? And so that's really important to watch. Now, the European Space Agency have got a very neat spacecraft that actually can engineer artificial solar eclipses. So it can navigate to position itself in front of the moon to create its own eclipses. And that's how important eclipses are for us in order to be able to study the sun.
Yeah. And I think we're going to have a look at what's going on in Spain, because it's getting very close. It's getting very close to their total eclipse in Spain, Villa Lobado, there we are, and very close to a total solar eclipse. Let's join Alistair Bunkall, who is in Mallorca, on the beach there in Palma, and well, there we are.
Look how dark it is.
That suggests that, Alistair, you are very close to a total eclipse.
Yeah, I reckon 4 or 5 minutes away, Mark. I mean, you've just experienced it. It's so hard to sort of describe because, given the time of the day, on the one hand, you sort of mentally are expecting a sunset. And I think about half an hour ago, that's kind of how it felt. But now it's totally different. You kind of know that it should be light still, but it's not. And the sort of the darkness that is, almost creeping in every 10, 20 seconds or so, just has a slightly eerie feel to it. The temperature's definitely dropped a lot as well. People are watching it from wherever they can do. Of course, most people are here on the beach. They've got their spots for the last couple of hours. People are up on rooftops as well, and some of the hotels around here. Great spot to watch it from, uninterrupted. I like the people who have gone into the sea themselves. Some have gone out further out on paddle boards. Others are on boats, but some are just in the sea with their glasses on, and they're taking advantage of the fact they're down by the Mediterranean to watch it. Let's just, I mean, if I put my glasses on now, there's just a slither of the sun still left. So by my calculation, an 8:31, just after 8:31 is supposed to be the moment of totality. So that's about 4 minutes away now. And then we'll get 90 seconds, about 90 seconds of total darkness, of total totality. And then the sun will start to emerge again before a few minutes later sinking for the real sunset behind the mountains just to the west of Palma where we are. But, this is the place to be. And that is why so many people have traveled here. A lot of people here are just here by pure chance. They're here on holiday, as so many tens of thousands do every summer, to places like Mallorca. but people have travelled all over the world to this spot. It'll be the last moment on land, really, that you'll get the totality. I spoke to one guy who's come from
Alistair, let's just stop and watch as we approach a total eclipse in Villa Libardo in Spain. Yeah, that is absolutely stunning and also historic. The first total eclipse in Spain for 120 years. I think the last one, 1905.
But Spain's lucky because it's got another one next year as well.
That's the one you're going to.
You are coming with me, Mark.
But look at this. Look at the colours. Look at the...
Yeah, so you can see
corona.
That atmosphere around it. So the green that you're seeing there is that atmosphere around it, the corona, and then we've got these prominences coming off it, and that's the sun starting to come back out again as the moon moves away from the sun. It's a very short eclipse, this one. So the one next year in 2027 is going to be a full 7 minutes of totality.
There we are. These are live pictures from Spain, and we've been talking about the corona all evening. Well, there it is.
Magical, isn't it? And if you're under the path of totality, we haven't had this here in the UK, but if you're under the path of totality, you can see the stars right now. When the sun's blocked out to this extent, the stars that you're used to seeing in the night sky pop out.
Right, well, they are stunning pictures. Let's pop back to Alistair Bunkall, who's in Mallorca and who I'm guessing is in almost total darkness.
Can you see the stars?
Alistair, give us a sense of what you can see or what you can't see.
Well, Mark, firstly, just look at this, or look at what you can see, and have a listen to this. We have totality now, and an event that is old as the planet itself. You can also see the modernity of the lights of camera phones as everybody can now remove their glasses and look at that spectacular image and capture it for themselves on their phones. And we are in total darkness, almost. There's just the faintest of glow. God, I mean, I don't have the words for this. I've seen a lot in this job, but this I will remember. This is quite extraordinary. The moment that the moon passed right in front of the sun, there was a huge cheer here on the beach, and some people are up dancing. Everybody's got to their feet. And you can just see the rays. You can see the rays of the sun now just eking out from around the moon. And we've got this for about 90 seconds, probably for about another 45 seconds or so. Oh, and it's just starting to appear now. That bright glow. It looks like the moon is on fire. It looks like it's burning up as the sun starts to come back into vision. And suddenly we start to get a bit of light again. we can start to see again. But look how close it is to the mountains. In a few minutes' time, once the sun comes back, in a few minutes' time, it will sink below those mountains and we'll get a double sunset. Well, there we go. This is the scene from Palma and Mallorca. One of the last places in the world to see this total eclipse. One of the best places in the world to see this total eclipse. And for 90 seconds, we had totality. The beach went into darkness. The temperature dropped. I can see seagulls have landed on the water, tricked into thinking that it was dusk. It will be dusk in a few minutes from now. For a bit, it felt like a normal sunset, but the closer it got to totality, it had that very definite, eerie, indescribable feeling of a total eclipse. As the moon moved in front of the sun, people removed their glasses, took photographs on their camera phones, screamed, cheered, some danced. And now, as the moon is moving in the other direction of the sun, you can see it is starting the sun to set behind the mountains. It is now just gone 8:35 here in Mallorca. Sunset is at 8:49. And we have the privilege of this double sunset, the privilege of being able to see a total eclipse, this rare phenomenon. And that is why so many thousands of people have come out here onto the beach in Mallorca. The Spanish authorities reckon that 500,000 have traveled to Spain and the Balearic Islands for this moment alone. And for the holiday makers here who've come for their summer break, what a treat.
Yeah, well, Alistair, we were watching those pictures on our screen here, and they were utterly staggering. The pictures of the total solar eclipse in Spain, staggering on our screen here. So I can only imagine, Alistair, what it was like to see it there, as your world was just plunged into darkness and then the light slowly coming back. What pictures they were, what memories for those people, what emotions for those people. The total eclipse reached over Spain, and my word, what a spectacle it was, Catherine.
Absolutely. It's, I keep thinking, you know, when we saw it going from dark to light again, yeah. I just keep thinking about, you know, humans in the past. You know, the eclipses have been happening for as long as there's been a moon going around planet Earth, and just thinking about people in the past, just the celebration, the relief when the sun came back out again. And I just felt like you saw that on the beach there were people dancing, weren't they, celebrating? Yeah. And they knew that it was coming back, so tremendous to see.
Well, we know so much now, science has given us so much, we can just enjoy
absolutely
that as a spectacle.
Yes.
We can look upon it in wonderment, we can look upon it with awe. And I mean, those last few moments in Spain were utterly spectacular.
Yeah. I have total eclipse envy.
Which will come to an end next year. So that's, I mean, so another total eclipse in Spain next year. So what's going on? It's just
luck. It's just how everything lines up. Something's happened. It's a different part of Spain. It's going to be in South Spain. And then going across down to Gibraltar and then across the Middle East. And that one, I think, you know, if people at home are thinking, right, I really want to see a total solar eclipse. I think that is the one to go for because it is going to be a very unusual one in that it's going to last for 7 minutes. Can you imagine 7 minutes in darkness?
Yeah.
So that's a good one to book and start planning. Usually people plan their total solar eclipse hunting a year ahead.
Years ahead, yeah.
So 2nd of August 2027.
Now, Dr. Claire Foulon, Senior Lecturer in Solar and Space Physics, University of Exeter. I saw you watching that whole thing here through your glasses. We've just seen the most unbelievable images from Spain, which I hope you saw as well. Your thoughts?
Okay. First, I don't know if you noticed, but we had babies crying when it was at the maximum obscurity. And now you will not hear them anymore. It was just amazing because we know about animals also being disrupted, and I had some stories of people wanting to experiment with chicken, and then what happened during an eclipse? They disappeared. so it seems to stress. It seems to have stressed some babies. That was there, just in the background.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah, and then here the thing in Spain. You know, I was telling you about the prominences. Did you notice the nice big cloud on the? It was bottom left on your screen, the first one. It was nice big pink cloud. That was your prominence there. The prominence that I was telling you about that could eventually erupt and lead to a coronal mass ejection. That's the one.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in the total eclipse, you had all these, they were what we call diamond rings, which is like when, before it's complete darkness, totality, it's just when the light of the sun disappears behind, and it happens before and after. So that was useful. And all the color around that you see that is very pink, that's what we call the chromosphere. Chromo it's the color.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to, tell you about.
Don't go away because we want to. It was so breathtaking that we want to see it all again. When we were just there with Alistair Bunkall in Mallorca, total eclipse, just minutes away, less than a few minutes away. Let's watch again because I can assure you, you won't want to miss this.
Okay, so do you want me to tell you a bit?
Well, Mark, firstly, just look at this, or look at what you can see, and have a listen to this. We have totality now, and an event that is old as the planet itself. You can also see the modernity of the lights of camera phones as everybody can now remove their glasses and look at that spectacular image and capture it for themselves on their phones. And we are in total darkness, almost. There's just the faintest of glow. God, I mean, I don't have the words for this. I've seen a lot in this job, but this I will remember. This is quite extraordinary. The moment that the moon passed right in front of the sun, there was a huge cheer here on the beach, and some people are up dancing. Everybody's got to their feet. And you can just see the rays. You can see the rays of the sun now just eking out from around the moon. And we've got this for about 90 seconds, probably for about another 45 seconds or so. Oh, and it's just starting to appear now. That bright glow. It looks like the moon is on fire. It looks like it's burning up as the sun starts to come back into vision.
Well, let's join Alistair live, much brighter there now. Brilliantly described, Alistair. I envy you being there. It just seemed to me that this was the universe putting us in our place.
Yeah, I mean, it was stunning. I mean, Mark, you know, our job is to, you know, witness history and put words to it, and history we witnessed, but it's a struggle to try and find the words for that kind of event, and it's not till you watch it for yourself with your own eyes that you almost can't believe your own eyes, and it was just, you know, remarkable. Really, really stunning. Joshua and Melody watched it with us on the beach.
Yeah.
Now, you've come from Atlanta, Georgia. You've come a long way.
Yes, we have.
It didn't disappoint.
No, it was worth all 90 seconds of totality that we got. We were, it really, like you said, there are words that don't describe it. But to be in the presence of it and to just hear all of these people clapping and applauding and everyone just collectively being in this space of just enjoying this incredible astronomical event is especially in the world that we live in at the moment, it's really heartwarming to see everyone just enjoy this really magical event.
Yeah, that's a really good point, isn't it? I mean, everybody came here, whatever they were doing, people stop, people watch.
Yeah.
People watch something that is more powerful than them, more powerful than we can really ever totally comprehend.
Sometimes you are forced to see it and witness it with its fullness and its power, and you realize, oh yeah, no, I get to do this. And that's powerful, and without the words to be able to say that, you can't really describe that feeling when you see it.
Have you seen one before?
No, this is my first time.
First.
This is my first totality. It is, you are watching this eclipse, this beautiful moment, and you can't describe it.
No, I mean, you know, what drew you here? I mean, obviously the eclipse, but what made you think, I need to be here on this day, you know, half the way around the world from where you live in order to see this?
I mean, it was a once-in-a-lifetime event. The next one at sunset won't happen for another 74 years. We actually were lucky to come with a friend who does this, who chases eclipses around the world, and they said there's nothing like it. And yeah, until you experience it, it's, you know what's happening. You know that the position of the new moon is in the way of the sun, but it's powerful. It's really incredible. To be able to get to see that, knowing that likely we won't see the next one, but hopefully it'll be on a on a happier world. It's really, really cool. We're very grateful.
For me, in a way, the most stunning moments are when the sun started to emerge again and just suddenly this like flash of brightness, almost like the moon was suddenly caught fire as the sun started to come back into vision. That was for me, in a way, perhaps the most stunning moment. I mean, the whole thing was stunning, but that was the bit that was like, oh,
it was like a twilight dawn.
Yeah.
It was just like this re-emerging at the weirdest time, and yet, everyone collectively just cheering like it's back. Like it was like a giant collective peekaboo game, but in the most just wonderful way.
And seeing that re-emergence and seeing that reminds us of that hope.
And to begin with, when it was sort of slowly creeping over, there's a sort of an element, I don't know about you, I sort of felt, because psychologically at the time of the day, it sort of felt like sunset.
Yes.
And then the closer and closer you get, you're like, no, this is not a sunset.
No, absolutely not. You get that distinct sense of, oh, it's nighttime now. The temperature has dropped like 10 degrees.
The shadows deepen.
And the birds are doing a completely different thing than they'd be doing at this time. It was wild to just watch the buildup, and then in that moment of totality, just the silence of it.
So 90 seconds worth every penny it took to get here.
Worth every penny, every moment.
Again, to the generosity of my friend.
Your first eclipse. I'm thinking maybe not your last eclipse.
Unlikely.
No.
I'm thinking, I think your friends are going to perhaps Cairo next year to watch the one.
They were talking about it, and then I think sometime in New Zealand after that.
I'm going to put money on you perhaps joining them for another one.
Here's hoping. So I'm glad you guys got to experience it too, because wow. It doesn't do it justice.
It doesn't. And I just wanted to say thank you for your beautiful words. In that moment where you were talking, I watched and I connected with you. So thank you for what you do.
That's very kind. I felt I struggled to find the words because...
How can you?
How can you?
But exactly. But I tell you what, Twilight Dawn.
Twilight Dawn.
That is a very good way of describing it, Melody. Thank you, Joshua, Melody. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
There you go, Mark. I could probably pick anyone on this beach, and they would feel the same way about what they've just seen. I want to know how much you paid him to say that. But you did describe it very well, so good for you. And as I say, I envy
I envy your experience there. Now, Claire, we interrupted you to go to those pictures of Spain again, but I've just watched you absolutely transfixed by those pictures from Spain.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
That's you know, I would like to go back to what I said 2 days earlier. Is like, you know, is it worth it? Yes, it's absolutely worth it. I think, especially if you're a solar physicist like me, you probably. I tried before. I went to a conference where it was supposed to be total eclipse, and then the clouds came and we didn't see anything.
Right.
And so that's worth a shot, I think. You know, we saw these beautiful images of these solar prominences, and yeah, I've been studying them, so to see them with your own eyes, I mean, this is always something worth traveling for. I was telling Catherine how the next one in Egypt, it's a very long one, it lasts 7 minutes, but it's 40 degrees or more. It's going to be such a hot weather to go there. I don't know. It's 2nd of August next year, but yeah, it's an interesting idea. But we got a good time here. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what amazes me is that I thought scientists, solar scientists, astrophysicists would be all a bit blasé about an eclipse. You know, common garden, partial eclipse. But you're not. You're both really sort of touched by it, and you both look so emotional.
We notice things. I don't know if you notice, but when the first phase, before going to the maximum obscurity, the first phase, actually that side of the sky was darker than this side, and now and then it started to change a bit. Yeah. So you also observe the changes in the sky, and that, you know, if you're a scientist, you're only looking at a cutout of the sun. You don't look at everything else. And here it's in your environment, is where you live. It's next to you. So yeah, it touches you.
And the benefit of what we've been able to do this evening by watching the partial eclipse here and with our own eyes through glasses, and then you see those incredible pictures in Spain. You see the difference between even, you know, quite a substantial partial eclipse and a total eclipse.
We were so close to a total eclipse here.
But what happened to a total eclipse and the corona and so forth. Yeah. And I was asking Catherine a question earlier, which I
didn't know the answer to.
Which I shouldn't say, but she
I know,
didn't know the answer.
I said you need Claire.
I certainly didn't know the answer. Okay. I was interested to know how big the corona are. Yes. Don't tell me you don't know either.
So it's not about how big.
Someone Google it.
Okay, so it is extendable. So the corona is a starting point. It's a solar atmosphere that you see, but it's basically, it follows, it continues into what we call the heliosphere, and it fills the heliosphere with what we call the solar wind.
Right.
And the solar wind is also, it changes because we have different types of solar wind. And so the corona has different sources of solar wind, and there's the hot corona that is associated with active regions that will give you a slow solar wind. And then there is kind of a cool corona that is associated with what we call coronal holes, and that is associated with fast solar wind. And then these things move around because the sun changes over actually a cycle of 11 years. And through this cycle, the areas of active regions and coronal holes also move around. So I don't want to give you a big solar physics course, but what I try to say is that the corona is the starting point of all sorts of properties that then impact our magnetic environment, the magnetic environment of the Earth. And because we are in the heliosphere, so the heliosphere includes all our the planets, so it goes all over the solar system. Right. But no, wait a minute. The solar system is also made of comets. So the comets they can come into the heliosphere and they can go out. So the comets are controlled by the gravity of the sun. This is why they go around it. While the heliosphere is controlled by the solar wind of the sun. And so the heliosphere is just, it's a kind of a protective bubble. It's a bubbles inside the interplanetary space. Okay?
So all is clear, no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If we're talking about comets, shall we talk about what's going to happen after the sun sets?
You mean the Perseid?
Yes. Perseids.
Yes. Perseids.
Perseids meteor shower.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about... By the way,
yes.
The Perseid meteor shower and the eclipse like this, is that rare to have?
Incredibly rare to have a total solar eclipse at the peak of a meteor shower. One of my friends calculated that hadn't happened for 5,000 years. I haven't verified his calculation, but no, very rare to have a meteor shower on exactly the same day.
So you can watch this.
Solar eclipse.
You can watch this, and then tonight, later on, you can watch the meteor shower.
Meteor shower,
because it was a clear night. You've got probably. I mean, they're not shooting stars, are they? This is, or are they?
No, they're not. They're not actual stars.
This is dust being.
Dust burning up in our
billions
atmosphere.
of year old dust,
exactly.
isn't it? See.
Well done. You were listening earlier, Mark. Well done.
I know my science.
But if I say, they come back every year, right?
They do.
So that's every year.
Yeah, that's every year.
Yeah.
Well, the eclipse is, is kind of more. It's a combination of circumstances. Yeah.
Right. Look, while you're here, I've heard a reference to two things this evening, which I don't understand. The diamond ring effect. What was that? What you were saying that was happening when we were looking at Spain and the total eclipse?
Well, we were not doing it together. I was watching while you were here.
Yeah.
But one of the images you saw, I think it was one of the first total eclipse in Spain that you had. The image was really brilliant. It showed you a corner with the prominence, the pink one, and then at the end, you could see. This is when I saw the diamond rings, so you could still, it was total eclipse. And then it's just the start when the sun comes out.
It'd be lovely to see those pictures again from Spain, just as the moment it all lights up around
all lighted up,
whether we can or not. And the other thing, Bailey's beads.
Okay.
What is that a thing?
You saw the sort of the little dots at the top. It kind of looks like beads, doesn't it? And that's just we can't see it on the thing. That you had an image earlier which had the prominence at the bottom, and you had these sort of like bead-like shapes at the top, and it's just different parts of the sun starting to come back out.
So we're going to try and get sort of the pictures and identify those things, but we're going to go rather sadly, I'm afraid, to Ireland. And our correspondent Stephen Murphy, who's at Blackrock Castle Observatory in Cork, where, well, Stephen, we must have been making you feel slightly envious because it's been quite brilliant here. And then, obviously, Alistair Bunkall has lucked out and it was totally absurdly brilliant there.
Always the bridesmaid, Mark. What did you expect when you sent me to somewhere in Ireland? I mean, of course we've got clouds, haven't we? Look, I'll be honest, I think the crowd, and it was a really large crowd here at this observatory, they had a good time, everyone was excited. There was a real sense of anticipation. It was so nice here all throughout the day. Blue skies, a lot of sunshine. Everything was shaping up to be just perfect. And then maybe just about an hour or so before the start of the event, that cloud just kind of crept in. It got a patchy cloud. And now, as you can probably still see here behind us, it is a thick cloud cover. It did get quite dark for sort of about 7:30. It was very dark for that time. A lot of the street lights came on. Then it brightened quite considerably and the crowd started to drift away. Let's speak to the head of the observatory here, Dr. Niall Smith. Success or a little bit of disappointment in that?
Well, if you've been involved in looking at the skies from Ireland for as long as I have, it's not a surprise. But of course, we're disappointed on one level, but we actually always said the reason why we were hosting these communal events was share whatever was going to happen together. And actually, especially if it's dark, because if you're doing it at home, it's probably a bit of an anticlimax. Here we had people laughing, joking. You know, we were able to explain to them what was going on about we saw some birds actually all congregate on the top of Blackrock Castle as they thought it was time to go to sleep. And, you know, the kids were excited by that. So, yeah, of course, we would have loved to see 96% totality. But actually, I would have rathered have, I'm delighted we had such a big crowd. We, you know, as you said, all through the day, it looked like it was going to be really good. And all through the day, we had people coming in, lots of enthusiasm. And I think a lot of people will go away enthusiastic about looking at the skies above. I'd certainly like to think so. So definitely not a waste.
Yeah, a lot of this is about drawing a new audience to astronomy and to those sort of sciences. Do you think people still have learned something from today, despite the fact that we didn't actually get to see the eclipse itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a way the thing that you learn is you learn more when things don't go right almost, because you start to explain to people, well, about the darkening of around them isn't just due to the clouds, it's actually due to the sun. So they actually start to say, but why is that? And why did it not go completely dark? So this was one of the questions we kept on getting asked. So we're saying, well, 3% of the sun's brightness is really quite bright. But that would have been questions which people would never have asked before necessarily. So it's how you respond to any, if you like, any experiment. That's what good science is all about. And experiments don't always go right, but it's about the learning from it. And in this case, it's about sort of the community shared. And I know we keep on coming back to that, but for us at this observatory, that's really important. We want people to feel confident. We want people to feel excited. We want people to feel enthused by astronomy. And I think a lot of people, I hope from talking with them today, will go home thinking that.
You must have been encouraged by the turnout as well. It was a huge crowd, really enthusiastic, and people from all over the world. It wasn't just people from Cork or from anywhere else in Ireland. People from all over came here to watch this tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to remind people, we had 3 different venues across the city because we anticipated, because this is a relatively small space, and all 3 venues seem to have been full. I mean, Bell's Field, which is another venue on the north side, which people might be familiar with from the Young Offenders, that was absolutely jointed. And there was a marriage proposal, which I understand was accepted there. So, I mean, there was a lot went on across the different venues tonight, even under cloud.
Is it a good omen to start that in an eclipse? I'm not sure.
Well, we did talk about starting your marriage under a cloud, but I think we decided that that's unfair.
Well, look, it was a great success for you guys. Sure, there's always 2090, I suppose. When I'll be 110, I won't be making any plans for that just at the moment. But Niall, thank you very much for speaking to us. Look, I think that's pretty much it. You can probably see things have pretty much wrapped up here now. A lot of anticlimactic sort of sensibility around the place, I think. A lot of people a bit disappointed, but I think everybody still had a good time here. There was a real sense of excitement up until that moment. Murphy's Law, when that cloud just started to creep in from the west.
Yeah, well, listen, Stephen, bad luck, but thanks very much for being there for us today. Let's join NASA now. Dr. Kelly Corrick is a heliophysicist and NASA's 2024 Eclipse program manager, and she joins me live from Maryland. And welcome, and thank you very much for being with us. And just first of all, how big a day is this for NASA?
This is a great day for NASA. We had a successful WB-57 airline flight, as well as balloon launches from students in both Spain and Iceland. So this has just been a great day, in addition to being able to talk to so many of you out there about this wonderful event.
Right, and Kelly, I want to know more about this flight. The plane, the NASA plane, I think took off from Iceland, did it? Cruised at about 50,000 feet, way above the clouds. What is it monitoring? What is it doing? And what kind of information is it gathering?
Yeah, so the NASA WB-57 flew at 50,000 feet. It had a camera in its nose that was taking scientific images, around 20 per second, in different temperature bands. So when we look at the sun and we see it in different wavelengths or different temperatures, we're talking about different pieces of the sun. So we took all these different images and really cared about that solar corona, that outer place that you can see in the total solar eclipse that affects us so much here on Earth in terms of space weather, that stuff that can affect our GPS or our astronauts or even our power grids.
Right, so effectively they're taking, what, dozens of pictures a second of the occluded sun.
Yes, they are, because the moon makes the perfect occulter. The face of the sun is very bright, about 1,000,000 times brighter than the corona that you see in the eclipse, and that moon just fits over it just perfectly. So we're able to see from the surface away and see, again, that solar wind or that space weather at its very beginnings.
Right, and by being up there and traveling so quickly along the path of the eclipse, I guess the pilots are in a sense extending the totality, if you like. Is that right?
That's exactly right. We get a little bit of extra time with the totality. We get that special feeling, and they get such an amazing view. They get to watch the shadow as it overtakes them. So it's just a really great viewpoint for the pilots as well as for the scientific instrumentation.
Right, and talk to me about the balloons. You mentioned balloons. Where do they go from, and what are they doing?
Yeah, so these are small weather balloons, and they were launched out of a high school track field in Iceland, as well as some areas in Spain. And students put together experiments on them. They made this their project, and there were radiosondes which measure the temperature, pressure, and winds in Iceland as this cloud was passing over. And they too were clouded over, so they experienced darkness and kind of those experiences, but they did not see totality. But that doesn't matter because it still affected the atmosphere, and they'll continue to do those studies. And then in Spain, they actually had a 360-degree camera on those balloons, so we're able to get images from the sky from those balloons.
Right. So how does all the information that you're gathering, that you're gleaning, how does all that help NASA?
All of this helps NASA better understand both the sun. So we're going to be able to understand our space weather, especially with our Artemis crews going up. We want to make sure any of that radiation coming towards the sun is understood and we have our astronaut protected, as well as protecting our technological way of life here on Earth. So all those studies will be compiled and then released in various scientific papers and then eventually used in operations. And then for the balloons, that data will also be shared in public in a few months of all the information we've learned to understand our weather patterns a little bit better. So it really helps us in so many ways.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And Kelly, we've been talking quite a lot about the corona. How does that help? How does the study of that help particularly?
Yeah, so the corona is the outer atmosphere of the sun. And again, when you block out the disk, you can see all of this outer corona. You sometimes see streaks or images that look like there's a lot of streaks coming out of the sun, even pink things like filaments on eclipse photos. And those are mass that could be transferred out and blown out throughout the solar system. And so it could affect us here on Earth, at the moon, at Mars, or even beyond. So we really want to understand what's going on in that corona and when it's going to change, so that we can understand what the weather forecast is going to be for us exploring the solar system.
Right, really fascinating. Thanks very much, Kelly. Before you go, I mean, what was the eclipse like where you are? Could you see anything? What was going on?
So the eclipse in the Washington, D.C. area was only around 4%. So it was just a very little bite out of the sun. We didn't experience that totality, that darkness, or any of those types of wind, the cooling that normally happens during totality. We just had views of a little bite out of the sun.
Okay, well, listen, Kelly, we really appreciate you coming on from NASA and helping us understand what you've been doing. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Now let's take you back to the scenes, just under an hour ago here in Cornwall. There was real emotion as it got slowly darker and those moments of partial eclipse. If you missed it, here's how Newquay and Professor Catherine Heyman and I witnessed it all.
Oh gosh, Mark, you really need to turn around and have a look. We are so close to an absolutely minuscule crescent here in Newquay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
3 minutes away from the extent of the
I mean, I can see just a
here
sliver.
in Newquay.
It's just a sliver of light now here in Newquay.
And the Astronomer Royal of Scotland is very pleased to be here because up in Scotland they won't be seeing quite as much.
So it's a 90% partial eclipse up in Scotland. I'm not following the weather up north, so I hope my friends in Scotland have got some holes in the clouds so they can witness this as well.
Yeah. 2 minutes left. And you were talking about the corona and how some of these sort of missions get quite close. I'm interested in this because how big is the corona? Is that? Is it sort of thousands of miles? How big is it?
I don't know the answer to your question, Mark.
You don't know the answer. Well,
It's live television. Yeah, we need to get Claire back, the solar physicist. Get Claire back.
But I mean, it's huge.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. No, the sun is this massive ball of burning gas. It weighs 2 with 30 zeros after it kilograms. And it is burning hydrogen in its core to make helium and the light that we can see here. And it is an absolutely, if we didn't have the sun, then we wouldn't.
Listen, I think let's have a look because it's 45 seconds.
It's getting so dark now, isn't it?
45 seconds to the extent of
I can see
the partial eclipse, so we can have a look.
The tiniest crescent now, and it's so dark on the beach, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, 20 seconds to the extent of the partial eclipse.
And what's interesting, Mark, is the orientation of the crescent is changing. So when we first started seeing it, it was sort of on to the left, and now it's moving around to the right. And that's just the moon moving across, just skirting below the upper limb of the sun. And now it's starting to come back again.
That's the peak. We've reached the peak
of the partial eclipse. And oh gosh, we were so agonisingly close to totality here, weren't we? Just a sliver of sunlight left.
Yeah, I mean, just the darkness there was quite extraordinary. And as you say, Catherine, so close to a total eclipse.
Agonisingly close to totality,
Look, we're going to talk again in a moment. I just want to show viewers what happened in Spain, because Sky's Alistair Bunkall had arguably the best view of the lot. He was on a beach in Palma in Mallorca, and here's how the total eclipse there looked for him, and thousands with him on the beach there watching.
Well, Mark, firstly, just look at this, or look at what you can see, and have a listen to this. We have totality now, and an event that is old as the planet itself. You can also see the modernity of the lights of camera phones, as everybody can now remove their glasses and look at that spectacular image and capture it for themselves on their phones. And we are in total darkness, almost. There's just the faintest of glow. Oh, I mean, I don't have the words for this. I've seen a lot in this job, but this I will remember. This is quite extraordinary. The moment that the moon passed right in front of the sun, there was a huge cheer here on the beach, and some people are up dancing. Everybody's got to their feet, and you can just see the rays. You can see the rays of the sun now just eking out from around the moon, and we've got this for about 90 seconds, probably for about another 45 seconds or so. Oh, and it's just starting to appear now, that bright glow. It looks like the moon is on fire. It looks like it's burning up as the sun starts to come back into vision.
And Dr. Claire Foulon and Professor Catherine Hayman are still here with me, and well, it's light is re-established here, but even here, the darkness was not only noticeable but eerie. As you say, babies started crying, the wind stilled, it got cooler, and obviously it got darker. It was quite something, wasn't it?
Yes. I think people also stopped talking. I had the impression it was much quieter as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but except for the baby's cry. That was interesting.
Yeah.
It's this moment where you you're so absorbed by watching it. But yeah, there's plenty of things happening. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we can see there. This is the shot of the sun where we are in Newquay, and you can see there the eclipse has ended, and even a few clouds daring to show their face, but I suppose they can do that now.
Yes.
We've had our fun, and it really was quite spectacular. Catherine, what did you make of it all?
I'm actually feeling a bit sad now, Mark, because it's over. The fun's over. It was just, I mean, you see the pictures on the TV and books, and but to actually be here and experience it. So thank you so much for flying me down from Scotland. It's just been an absolutely spectacular evening in the most gorgeous location, and to see when it got to that tiny crescent sun, and watching it shift from sort of left over to right as the moon moved across very gently. It was absolutely beautiful to see that, and so I'm a bit glum now. I have to wait a whole other year before the next
well,
one.
You need to go and see this total eclipse. I think you need to tick that box. And Claire, you were just saying to me earlier you wanted to talk a bit more about the weather, the space weather, and how all this relates to that.
Yes, so I'm not sure what answers you got from the heliophysicist in NASA, but I hope she was kind of like repeating things I already started saying. What I wanted to say about space weather is the impact is something that you also can see in the sky, and it's known as the aurora. And in 2024, 11th of May, or around that time, we had a big coronal mass ejection, and it created a big geometric storm. And actually, we had auroras in Devon, which, aurora, you associate auroras with the polar cap, or you have to go north, Finland, Norway. No, it was here in Devon, or everywhere in the UK as well, but there were lots of pictures taken by people. And this is, again, we come back to this idea of how unique it is. It's from your perspective, from your own eyes, and you're able to see these beautiful, colors. So, yeah, that is one aspect that is known from the impact of the solar wind on our metaspheric environment.
Yeah. And Catherine, this whole thing about this alignment and watching this happen, you do get a real sense of the size of space and your place in space and your place in the universe, and it's a pretty small one.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're really quite insignificant. but the joy of being able to be here and witness that. For me, it was just that slow motion of the moon that really struck me, and sort of that's the physical motion of the moon around us on planet Earth, and we see that night after night. The shape of the moon changes because we're seeing different parts of it being illuminated by the sun. So you do see that change night after night, but to see it sort of actually happening right there over the course of 2 hours. Whenever I wasn't talking to you, Mark, I was just sat here with my eclipse glasses on, staring up at the sky.
Yeah, I'm just looking back because there's just a tiny cloud now, just across. And if we look at the picture that we were just looking at of the sun on Newquay, if we can get that back, that's all it would have taken. See there? That's all it would have taken to completely well, reduce the impact of the moment. Yeah.
No, clouds are a major problem for all astronomers, and that's why we often like to send our telescopes up into space, or indeed the NASA project that you were talking to, getting above the clouds. But yes, it's just as well they've only arrived now.
Look at that. So now that is quite some picture from Portugal, because that is what I assume is, well, it's sunset and the eclipse not quite over. So what a lovely shot that is. And I'm not sure in Portugal what the extent of the partial eclipse was, but that is, well, it's another one of these extraordinary images that we've seen for much of the evening.
And you're seeing that sun sort of set in real time there, Mark, you know, as it's getting closer and closer to the centre of the wind turbines. And what you're seeing there is the motion of the Earth turning. That's what's causing the sun to set. It's just the motion of that, the spin of the Earth. And
Well,
look, you know,
I'm just being told that they got 99.9%.
Oh, agonisingly close.
I mean, that is agonising close, but probably still spectacular, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
That. And there we are, Spain, where they've just had the most wonderful evening. And certainly if those images from Mallorca are anything to go by, they really had a treat there, didn't they? And that's the shot in Villa Libardo in Spain, which we've been watching for much of the evening, and we can say goodbye to the sun in Villa Libardo. But it has done its work, and it has pleased the Spaniards, and those shots on the beach of Mallorca were quite spectacular, weren't they?
Yeah, the person you were interviewing on the beach afterwards, you know, he was just overwhelmed, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I think here people, there was applause, wasn't there?
Yeah, a round of applause.
Oohs and ahs, and I think people starting to sort of wend their way home now, but they've had quite a treat as well.
Do you think I should stop them and tell them about the meteor shower, Mark?
Well, you can't, I know you want to talk about the meteor shower, so why don't we?
I'm just worried about all these people about to miss out on another amazing celestial event, because you know the Perseus meteor shower is my favourite meteor shower out of all of them that happen across the year, and that's because you don't have to completely freeze, and you don't need umpteen duvets to keep you warm. You just need a nice blanket to lie out and just look up at the night sky and see those shooting stars going across the night sky.
And tonight will be the night for that.
Tonight is the peak, yeah. Last night and tonight are the peaks of the Perseid meteor shower. And it can be absolutely spectacular. You can sometimes see what we call a fireball. These are really bright shooting stars. They happen every 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. And that's a sort of more like a sort of a millimetre-sized lump of rock burning up in our atmosphere.
Right. Well, we've seen some pretty spectacular scenes during this eclipse, but none so spectacular as the total eclipse that was visible in some parts of Europe, particularly in Spain, where our Europe correspondent Alistair Bunkall was lucky enough to see some quite extraordinary images.
On the one hand, you sort of mentally are expecting a sunset. And I think about half an hour ago, that's kind of how it felt, but now it's totally different. You kind of know that it should be light still, but it's not. And the sort of the darkness that is, you know, almost creeping in every 10, 20 seconds or so just has a slightly eerie feel to it. The temperature's definitely dropped a lot as well. People are watching it from wherever they can do. Of course, most people are here on the beach. They've got their spots for the last couple of hours. People are up on rooftops as well, and some of the hotels around here. Great spot to watch it from, uninterrupted. I like the people who have gone into the sea themselves. Some have gone out further out on paddle boards, others are on boats, but some are just in the sea with their glasses on, and they're taking advantage of the fact they're down by the Mediterranean to watch it. Let's just, Yeah, I mean, if I put my glasses on now, there's just a slither of the sun still left. So by my calculation, an 8:31, just after 8:31 is supposed to be the moment of totality. So that's about 4 minutes away now. And then we'll get 90 seconds, about 90 seconds of total darkness, of total totality. And then the sun will start to emerge again before a few minutes later sinking for the real sunset behind the mountains just to the west of Palma where we are. But you know, this is the place to be, and that is why so many people have traveled here. A lot of people here are just here by pure chance. They're here on holiday, as so many tens of thousands do every summer to places like Mallorca. But people have traveled all over the world to this spot. It'll be the last moment on land, really, that you'll get the totality. I spoke to one guy who's come from
Alistair, let's just stop and watch as we approach a total eclipse in Villa Libardo in Spain. Yeah, that is absolutely stunning and also historic. The first total eclipse in Spain for 120 years. I think the last one, 1905.
But Spain's lucky because it's got another one next year as well.
That's the one you're going to.
You are coming with me, Mark.
But look at this. Look at the colours. Look at the...
Yeah, so you can see
corona.
That atmosphere around it. So the green that you're seeing there is that atmosphere around it, the corona, and then we've got these prominences coming off it, and that's the sun starting to come back out again as the moon moves away from the sun. It's a very short eclipse, this one. So the one next year in 2027 is going to be a full 7 minutes of totality.
There we are. These are live pictures from Spain, and we've been talking about the corona all evening. Well, there it is.
Magical, isn't it? And if you're under the path of totality, we haven't had this here in the UK, but if you're under the path of totality, you can see the stars right now. When the sun's blocked out to this extent, the stars that you're used to seeing in the night sky pop out.
Right, well, they are stunning pictures. Let's pop back to Alistair Bunkall, who's in Mallorca and who I'm guessing is in almost total darkness.
Can you see the stars?
Alistair, give us a sense of what you can see or what you can't see.
Well, Mark, firstly, just look at this, or look at what you can see, and have a listen to this. We have totality now, and an event that is old as the planet itself. You can also see the modernity of the lights of camera phones as everybody can now remove their glasses and look at that spectacular image and capture it for themselves on their phones. And we are in total darkness, almost. There's just the faintest of glow. God, I mean, I don't have the words for this. I've seen a lot in this job, but this I will remember. This is quite extraordinary. The moment that the moon passed right in front of the sun, there was a huge cheer here on the beach, and some people are up dancing. Everybody's got to their feet. And you can just see the rays. You can see the rays of the sun now just eking out from around the moon. And we've got this for about 90 seconds, probably for about another 45 seconds or so. Oh, and it's just starting to appear now, that bright glow. It looks like the moon is on fire. It looks like it's burning up as the sun starts to come back into vision. And suddenly we start to get a bit of light again. We can start to see again, but look how close it is to the mountains. In a few minutes' time, once the sun comes back, in a few minutes' time, it will sink below those mountains and we'll get a double sunset.
Well, what about that in Spain? And this is what we see now of the sun in Newquay. And a little earlier, from about 6:15 to about 7:15, we just watched as the moon encroached across and got pretty much almost the way across. Things got pretty dark here, but nothing like that sort of total darkness that was witnessed so spectacularly there by Alistair Bunkall on the beach in Mallorca. Let's bring in Josh Jury now, a British astrophotographer who is on the island of Menorca. And Josh, welcome to the programme. And being so close to Mallorca, I gather, we've seen the pictures there, I gather you must have got some quite brilliant images as well.
Yes, I did, and thank you very much for having me. Wasn't it incredible to see day to turn to night for just a matter of seconds? And what has made it more special for me for this experience here in Menorca is that an eclipse of this scale has not been seen in 487 years. So I've had the immense privilege, literally just under an hour ago, to capture the image featured.
And just describe the pictures that you were able to get.
So very low down on the horizon, a totally eclipsed sun, and you can see the moon's shadow up there in the atmosphere, captured over one of the ancient Tauola, which is a primitive ancient site to Menorca.
Right, and just talk to me about the problems for someone like you and working, and how, because you will spend presumably quite a lot of time looking at the sun, but you have all the right solar filters and so forth. I mean, just talk to us a bit about that.
It was an interesting one this time around because we were going towards sunset, so the lighting conditions were changing all of the time. But in the end, when that light was just getting enough and you could safely remove your safety filter and we're reaching 99% coverage, that sight towards sundown was just fantastic. It really was.
And was it as impressive as you hoped it would be? Because everybody was, well, I mean, everybody knew that Spain was going to be spectacular once they knew that the weather was going to be good.
It was phenomenal. It's been an improving picture over these past few days, and especially with that historical connection and my own personal connection to Menorca, it was a real privilege to see, let alone photograph.
Right, and I see that you're described in my notes certainly as a dark sky conservationist. Now, what exactly is a dark sky conservationist?
So by taking photographs, I aim to raise public awareness of the changing world at night. So not only are we seeing artificial light, we're seeing constellations of satellites being launched into the sky, and our cultural heritage is changing in the new world. And so that's what I hope to address through photographs like these, is that really connected image that is land, earth and sky.
And why did you decide that space photography and eclipses was a thing for you?
Because they're a reminder that we live on a ball of rock inside of our solar system, orbiting our local star, the sun. And you've only got to see the photograph there to really show the pure drama and dynamics of our place in the universe. It's breathtaking.
Right, and Josh, that was the crash of a colander here, because that's been in the hands of Professor Haymans, but the colander has now fallen off the table. So I want to know what you do with your pictures. Do scientists get to see them? What happens to your pictures?
And so right now, my most important mission is to share it with the local people of Mallorca, for them to be embraced with this eclipse. Their cultural heritage is to share it with the people of Spain.
Right, and I mean, how many eclipses have you seen, and of those, which has been the most impressive for you?
So the most impressive for me, this has been my third total solar eclipse. I can just remember in 1999 when I was 2 years old, but counting that, this is my third total eclipse of the sun.
Oh, it's your first total eclipse. Well, in that case, congratulations. And there's another eclipse in Spain next year. Will you be back for that?
Let's find out.
Very quizzical. Josh, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much indeed, and enjoy the rest of the evening. So there we are. There's a man who makes a living from pointing his camera at eclipses and the sun. Yeah, and, I mean, that's his first total eclipse as well.
Oh.
So,
well, we've got a date now, Mark.
Well, we have. Yeah, next August.
Oh, look at the sun. It's beautifully setting here in Newquay now. It's just gorgeous, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, so, listen, I mean, we're nearly at the... Well, no, we've got another half hour to go, but it's over, really. Mm-hmm. We had that build-up and then the excitement of what happened here, and then those amazing scenes, really. I think those were the scenes of the night, weren't they, in Spain? And Alistair Bunkall, lucky enough to be there. But what are your feelings after? Yeah, you start.
I'm thinking, what you've done, I want to say, is amazing, because you brought so many people together through your coverage. And you can see that, you know, there are no boundaries. This is happening, you know, it's across all these different countries. And yeah, it just shows that you bring all sorts of people together. You can see, you know, the crowds here.
Well, it's nice of you to say. I mean, it's kind of what we do. It's a news event, I
yes,
suppose.
of course. But I see it, you know, in
well, that's kind.
It's much more. You live it, you know. So that's my impression.
Well, yeah. Well, I have to say, from my perspective, it's a really nice assignment because well, for one, it's not a war zone, and it's been quite spectacular. I just really have found it spectacular. And the partial eclipse here was so close, it seemed to me, to being a total eclipse. What are your thoughts?
So dark, didn't it? I was actually a bit surprised how dark it got. And I know it should have got dark, but I think what I like about these events is, you know, as a society, we've become so segregated. We've all got our own devices, haven't we? We're all watching different things now on our different devices. And when an event like this happens, it just brings everyone together. You know, it's happening right here, right now, above your heads. And, you know, as the Astronomer Royal for Scotland, one of my roles is to encourage people to look up. You know, to encourage people to just look up and look at what's out there. And when you have a spectacular event like this and wonderful coverage like this, you know, it just will encourage more people to look up. Yeah. And there's so much to discover out there. And you know, you talked to the Buff Astronomy group earlier. There are astronomy groups across the whole of the UK today who have been running events, getting people to look through their solar telescopes. And you know, people can go back and talk to those astronomy societies again, because it's not just eclipses. Yeah. There are beautiful things that you can see out there in our night skies whenever the clouds clear.
Well, it's interesting what you say about it being a sense of community, because that was really the case here, wasn't it, in many ways, that people were getting together, people talking about it, people wondering how far it
sharing
would go.
Eclipse glasses. I love that, you know, we handed out a couple and they went all the way around the beach.
Yeah, all right, well, look, let's have a look once again at what we experienced here in Newquay.
Absolutely minuscule crescent here in Newquay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
3 minutes away from the extent of the
I mean, I can
partial
see just
eclipse
a
here
sliver.
in Newquay.
It's just a sliver of light now here in Newquay.
And the Astronomer Royal of Scotland is very pleased to be here because up in Scotland they won't be seeing quite as much.
So it's a 90% partial eclipse up in Scotland. I'm not following the weather up north, so I hope my friends in Scotland have got some holes in the clouds so they can witness this as well.
2 minutes left. And you were talking about the corona and how some of these sort of missions get quite close. I'm interested in this because how big is the corona? Is that? Is it sort of thousands of miles? How big is it?
I don't know the answer to your question, Mark.
You don't know the answer. Well,
I'm
can we
seeing
find
live
out?
television. Yeah, we need to get Claire back, the solar physicist. Get Claire back.
But I mean, it's huge.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. No, the sun is this massive ball of burning gas. It weighs 2 with 30 zeros after it kilograms. And it is burning hydrogen in its core to make helium and the light that we can see here. And it is an absolutely, if we didn't have the sun, then we wouldn't.
Listen, I think let's have a look because it's 45
it's
seconds.
It's getting so dark
it's 45
now, isn't it?
seconds to the extent of
I can see
the partial eclipse, so we can have a look.
The tiniest crescent now, and it's so dark on the beach, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, 20 seconds to the extent of the partial eclipse.
And what's interesting, Mark, is the orientation of the crescent is changing. So when we first started seeing it, it was sort of on to the left, and now it's moving around to the right. And that's just the moon moving across, just skirting below the upper limb of the sun. And now it's starting to come back again.
That's the peak. We've reached the peak of
the partial eclipse. And oh gosh, we were so agonisingly close to totality here, weren't we? Just a sliver of sunlight left.
Let's just have a listen to the crowds here and just watch these pictures of the peak of the partial eclipse here in Newquay.
Crowds are cheering.
Yeah, well, the crowd's clearly aware now that this is the thing. And it just shows, I'm just sort of catching a glimpse of it in my naked eye. It just shows how...
No, don't look at the sun with your naked eye, Mark. Don't do it.
At a different angle, but you can't see anything anyway, can you, with the naked eye?
No. The eclipse glasses are just magical. But people at home, if you don't have eclipse glasses, do get out your colanders because you will see the projection of the sun through the holes in your colander, and you will see the crescent that you're seeing on the television here right now.
So, well, I hope people enjoy it because it's a long time to the next one, isn't it, Catherine?
Absolutely. So you get partial solar eclipses every couple of years or so, but never anything as magical as this. So we typically have sort of 20, 30, 40% partial solar eclipses. For something like this, again, in the UK, you're looking at least until 2050. And if you want to witness a total solar eclipse in the United Kingdom, Mark, I think you and I are too old for that.
I think, yeah.
23rd of September 2090.
2090.
Yeah, so if I've never seen a total solar eclipse, Mark.
No.
I've never seen one.
You've only just told me that now. So really,
this is really magical for me.
So I've got a question for you then. Why aren't you in Spain, or why aren't you?
Yeah, no, that's a very good
Iceland?
question. So
I'm very pleased you're here, by the way.
I think right now, Mark, you and I need to make plans. The 2nd of August, 2027.
Next year in Spain.
We can go to Malaga, Gibraltar, or Algeria. That goes across the Middle East. I mean, we can decide on the destination. But what do you think?
Well, I'm up for it. I mean, I was there in '99 in Devon. I was on a hillside in Devon, and that was pretty special.
Spectacular.
So, well, there we are. I love that they keep replaying the bit where I ask you a question you can't answer. But listen, look at this. We talk about eclipses. I mean, that is just a natural sunset right behind us here in Newquay, and it is quite lovely, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very special sunset. It's one of my favourite things, watching the sunset over the ocean, and it's just gorgeous today, isn't it?
And just very briefly, we're going to go down Whitehead in a minute, but very briefly, the question I asked you was how big is the corona?
I think
Can we get a quick answer
ask
from
Claire,
Claire?
the solar physicist.
Okay, so...
Quick answer, because we got to...
Okay, I did try to explain that the corona basically expands into the solar wind, but I can give you a short answer, which is that if you really want to have an answer, you can place it around 5 times the radius of the sun, so 5 times above the surface in size.
So massive.
But that's to do with the fact that you've got a closed magnetic field, closed loops inside the sun, and outside of the 5 radius, it's open field lines, and that flows in into the heliosphere.
Right.
So, but strictly speaking, it's just expanding. So the corona, the density basically is decreasing away from the surface.
So it was
so we have our
to
answer.
answer question, was
We
the
have
long short of it.
We have our answer. I know where to go now.
I can tell you about dark matter and dark energy if you like. That's more my specialist area.
We're going to speak to Dan Whitehead
first.
Dan Whitehead has been speaking to some families here on the beach just after the partial eclipse here.
What an incredible moment. And the whole beach just erupted. It was a real emotive moment. People were cheering as it really fell dark. You could see now the shadows are still here. It got cooler, it got darker. I had goosebumps. It really was something absolutely incredible to witness. Let's go and get some reaction from the families we've been speaking to here today. Tony, I know that we were chatting to you just before.
Hi.
I mean, we were tingling, weren't we, there?
Amazing. The kids were so excited. I'm not going to see it again. The kids are absolutely buzzing. The parents were having a great time. It's been amazing.
What did you make of it? I saw at one moment you were sort of whooping.
I can't quite believe what you see sometimes. It's the freak of nature. Just unbelievable. Absolutely amazing.
It was emotional.
Very emotional, because we'll never see it again. Just absolutely fantastic.
Let's go and get some reaction from people who will see it again, albeit quite a long time till we get such a spectacular view again. Kids, we're coming out the other side of the eclipse now. Aria, what did you think of that?
It was really cool. I loved it. I thought it was going to be not really like what I was thinking, but it was so much cooler than I thought.
What did you notice about it?
I noticed that it got all darker, and then now there's still some shadows of it, and all the birds went a bit fast. I think they got a bit scared.
Did they?
Yeah.
But you loved it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Jasper, what did you make of it, seeing that?
I thought it was really cool. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So it was really cool looking through the glasses and seeing what it did. The sun was on the left and now it's changed.
Amazing, wasn't it? Girls, can we have a chat to you back? Because I know we chat to everyone on the row here. What did you think about that? Because it sort of felt incredible. Everyone started clapping, didn't they?
Yeah, it was so good. It was amazing to see. It's probably a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity, so it's really cool to experience that. Yeah.
And how did you feel when that sort of maximum 96% of the sun was covered? What were you feeling then?
It was just like so cool. We'll probably never see it again, so yeah.
What about yourself?
It felt a bit weird because it all went quite dark and like.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's starting to get a bit lighter now. The shadows are still here, but you could really tell that moment there where we had that sort of partial totality, where we had that 96% covered. Everyone seemed to know at the same time. Everyone, I say, around the walls, they were whooping, people started to sing, and we had those 2 or 3 minutes there of almost eeriness, of coolness, of emotion that you could really feel on the beach. And then it was like a dawn as the moon passed further on and that light started to come round that crest on the other side of the sun. And what a magical moment for us all to experience.
Millions.
So Dan Whitehead on this very beach a short time ago. Now, I'm just seeing here that astrologers, not astronomers, astrologers consider the influence very powerful if you're born on an eclipse day. Now, the Daily Mail informed me that Prince William was born in June 1982 on partial eclipse day. Princess of Wales was born on a lunar eclipse day in 1982. And who was born on a lunar eclipse day in 1946, don't she?
1946.
Who was born on a lunar eclipse day in 1946? I'll put you out of your misery. President Donald J. Trump. So there we are.
Right.
Read into that
what you will.
Right. Now, the highlight of the day was clearly Spain, a total eclipse. Alistair Bunkall was lucky enough to be there. Let's have a look at it.
Well, Mark, firstly, just look at this, or look at what you can see, and have a listen to this. We have totality now, and an event that is old as the planet itself. You can also see the modernity of the lights of camera phones as everybody can now remove their glasses and look at that spectacular image and capture it for themselves on their phones. And we are in total darkness, almost. There's just the faintest of glow. Oh, I mean, I don't have the words for this. I've seen a lot in this job, but this I will remember. This is quite extraordinary. The moment that the moon passed right in front of the sun, there was a huge cheer here on the beach, and some people are up dancing. Everybody's got to their feet. And you can just see the rays. You can see the rays of the sun now just eking out from around the moon. And we've got this for about 90 seconds, probably for about another 45 seconds or so. Oh, and it's just starting to appear now. That bright glow. It looks like the moon is on fire. It looks like it's burning up as the sun starts to come back into vision.
Yeah, truly amazing, those pictures there. Oh, to have been there for that. I mean, the pictures on the monitor here just look so spectacular. And night is slowly drawing in, but it's not over, is it?
No,
Catherine,
no.
because you want to talk about something. You want to talk about something that's going to happen later tonight.
I always encourage people to look up. You know, if you're out walking your dog late at night, just look up at the night sky. And tonight is going to be another really special night because we have the Perseids meteor shower. Now, it's called the Perseus meteor shower because they appear to emanate, these shooting stars appear to emanate from the Perseus constellation. That it's called Perseus because it's supposed to look like a man, but actually it looks like an upside-down martini glass. Anyway, it doesn't really matter if you know where that is or not because they go across the whole sky. And it's a really good activity to do with date night maybe, friends, family, because blink and you miss these shooting stars. So the more people that you're out together, you're like, oh, I saw one over there. But what's actually happening is you've got very small grains of dust and rock that are burning up in our atmosphere. And those were left behind by a comet called Comet Swift-Tuttle. Now this thing is a dirty snowball. It's 25 kilometres across, and it makes a 133-year-long journey into the solar system, pulled by the gravity of the sun, goes back out again. Right now, it is somewhere between Saturn and Uranus, but Christmas 1992, it was moving through this part of the solar system. And we fly through this trail of debris that it left behind every August, and it is well worth staying up and watching if you've got gorgeous clear skies like we have here in
Extraordinary. And we touched on it earlier, but perhaps not for long enough. Just this coincidence that we had this wonderful eclipse, and we in the same night you have this extraordinary meteor shower.
Yes.
I mean, that's astonishingly rare, no?
Cosmic coincidence, yeah. There's so many different things happening out in space, and there are so many different things you can look at. If people have got binoculars, it's a new moon right now. That's why, because we just had a solar eclipse. It's a new moon, but over the next few days you'll start seeing the crescent moon appearing. If people have got binoculars, they're not just for bird watching. Get them out to have a look at the moon through them. It's so beautiful. Just put down your phones, go outside and just look up at our beautiful night sky.
I'm just pointing out that the sun has gone.
The sun has gone.
The sun has gone. It's done its work. Yes. Hasn't it? And what spectacular work.
And I can just add that because it is a new moon, there is a little bit of coincidence there. Because it's a new moon, then you can see the place.
Exactly.
So you have a better view of the stars tonight. Because it's a new moon, which is linked to the fact that we have an eclipse as well.
Right. Now, this is where time is important. So I've got a minute left, so 30 seconds each. What has today meant to you?
Amazing. I feel blessed.
You feel blessed?
Yes, blessed. It's a blessing to have had, this, and later we have the Perseid, so...
Yeah. I mean, and the main event here, you were watching through your glasses. You watched the whole thing.
Yes, that's... like many people who were able to see it, I think we enjoyed it, so...
Right. Yeah, well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Catherine, finally, 30 seconds left.
I am left wanting more. So I'm excited. I'm going to hold you to your promise of us going to the total eclipse next time. Yeah.
Which again is in Spain.
Which is again in Spain, so we can have a nice time there. And hopefully we'll get clear skies like we did here.
Yeah, so suddenly Spain, I mean, being denied the total, they've got two in succession.
Fantastic.
But what a one it was tonight.
It was absolutely glorious.
Anyway, listen, thank you both. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much indeed. So there we are. Thank you for joining us tonight for what was a truly spectacular solar eclipse. It was billed as the UK's best solar eclipse so far this century, and it certainly delivered. Iceland was the first to witness this rare spectacle, a total solar eclipse. Just look at that. Just look at these stunning images. The UK followed with millions of people staring at the sky in awe as the sun moved behind the moon. Here in Cornwall, real emotion as it got darker in those moments of partial eclipse. And the finale, northern Spain and the Balearic Islands treated to the full eclipse, quite spectacular, jaw-droppingly brilliant.